Hey guys, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 349. It is February 4th, 2014. My name is Nick Henderson. Brad Simons is joining me today.
That's me!
Oh, god damn it. Right out the bout.
Right up the butt?
God! I can't speak today. Right out the gate, you're being super loud.
If y'all could see this, Brad's like Ace Ventura from the first movie, like Jim Carrey. He's bent over and he's talking out of his ass right now.
Right out of the butt.
Nolan Hedstrom is
How's it
joining
going,
us.
guys?
And, of course, Christopher Guthridge.
Hey guys.
So
And-
I watched Sherlock, and
Have
you
you
just
never?
said...
For the first time?
No, the new episode.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait,
Oh,
no,
season
don't
3?
say
I
anything.
won't.
Mm-hmm.
You watched them all?
Obviously.
Okay. Yeah, they were good.
Yeah.
No. In Ace Ventura, at least when nature calls...
I love that movie.
That's a great movie.
Like, I recall a scene where, like, Ace Ventura uses the powers of, like, deduction, much like Sherlock.
yeah, he does.
But was it only in that one scene I'm remembering, or is that
Yeah.
just a talent he always had?
Well, he did that a lot more in the first movie.
In the first movie,
In the
he
second
does it.
movie, he does that once
Like
just
one
to
time.
remind you.
Okay,
like,
okay,
oh
no,
yeah, he's a
fuck the
detective.
second movie. The first movie. Show me, what's an example of when he did it in the first movie?
When he was actually like investigating.
When he was in the
shit?
hotel room trying to
Like-
investigate the
the
jump
jumper.
Right after he's like down in the tank, like looking
Yeah, well,
around.
he's-
he
I've seen
walks
that
around,
movie
he's
like a million
When he's in the
fucking
dolphin
times.
tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that was a
When
great
he's
movie.
not doing his William Shatner
Yeah,
impression.
yeah.
Those are great movies. There was like a year ago or two, like when Matt called me one day and he's like, hey, you want to hang out? And I was like, sure. And he shows up at my house. And he's like, I brought Ace Ventura when nature calls. And I was like, okay. We just fucking like watched it out of the blue and drank beer all day. It was fucking amazing.
Brad, are you?
Finkel is Einhorn. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Are you shipping? What's his face? Sherlock and Watson.
Am I shipping?
Never mind.
Hey, stop talking about it. I haven't watched it yet. I'm not watching it yet.
It has,
Am I-
that has to
am I
do with
just
having
being
a girlfriend who's active on the internet. Don't worry about it. Let's just keep going.
Anyways, thank you guys who are watching at home for bearing with us. We had some technical issues with
That's a good
video
show.
footage. Hey!
No, 4-Player Podcast is a good show.
Yeah, it's a fantastic
it's a good
show.
show.
Video.
Almost as good as Supernatural.
Hey now.
Yeah, I agree. Let's less tangents, more. Go.
Let's stop going on tangents, shall we? I just want to say thank you for bearing with us. We had some technical difficulties that prevented us from getting started on time today, but Chris Davis figured it out, as he always does. And now we're here. And Brad, why are you breathing so heavy? Is it because you want to talk about Octodad?
I was just checking the Kick Track,
I guess not.
which is it's a website that tracks Kickstarters, but it also it does trending towards goals. And last week when we checked, it was trending towards 800,000 plus. Now it's trending towards 673,000. The thing is that goes down every day as these donations slow down so much. So realistically speaking, they're not even going to hit their first stretch goal, which is the translation from
That sucks.
Alexander O. Smith. So I'm actually really fucking bummed here. What is wrong with you people? Are you fucking assholes?
I think they already spent all their Christmas money. They're waiting for their tax returns.
I
They
seriously
should
think-
have waited to do this Kickstarter until after people got their tax returns.
The Kickstarter bonuses for this game are really lame.
Oh yeah,
Or
no, I agree.
the backer rewards, and I think that's why
Oh yeah.
this is not more successful.
You're not talking about Octodad, though, which is what I would prefer for you to talk about right now.
Octodad, yeah, I finished that.
Octodad, Dadliest
Dadliest
Catch.
How long did it take you to finish it?
Okay.
Is that a time? Is this a?
Okay, minutes.
This game, Octodad, Dadliest Catch. Now, I didn't.
They should have made the game 8 hours.
I didn't get
4 to
all the
6.
ties. The ties are the hidden
Yeah,
items you
collectibles,
find,
yeah.
collectibles, and they usually require quite a bit of physical finesse to actually get to, especially later on in the game. I didn't get all those. I kind of grabbed them when I saw them near me. I was in the final
you just
boss
reach
fight,
it?
and I was dodging shit, and I was like, "Oh, a tie!" Yeah, that was the kind of.
Did you really
Yeah.
just reach out and grab it? I feel like it wouldn't be that simple. Isn't that kind of the point of the
No,
game?
in the final boss fight, it was. I was hiding behind a fucking pillar, so I didn't die, and I was like, "Oh, a tie."
I didn't even know there were boss fights in this game.
Well,
I
there's
know,
just,
right?
There's just the one.
Boss fight would be like suspenders, I thought.
Okay.
Wait,
Octodad, it is a great idea, and it has so much spirit.
Uh-huh.
It's just so goddamn charming. It's goofy in the way it plays, kind of like Surgeon Simulator, right? Where
Sure.
the way it controls is kind of the reason you play Octodad, right?
Right.
The game is like
Well-
2 hours long.
How much do they charge for it?
I think
This is not the first value proposition
I-
conversation we're gonna have on the show tonight.
it's $15. I think.
That's still kind of steep for a
You
2 hour
know,
experience, but
you're
hey,
right. it is because I mean it's fun, but you know it is kind of like if you're the kind of person who can really have a good time with Surgeon Simulator, which I did and I finished and I did all the secret missions or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just this goofy thing. It's very much relying on the gimmick of you control like shit, but in that there's something like there's silly physics and you control all goofy and like that. If that hook doesn't grab you, like if you don't think it's fun to play, y'all can try it after the podcast.
yeah, we're doing New Release Tuesday after the podcast if you're watching us live, and we're going to be playing. But in the catch, instead of just playing the single player, we're going to try and set it up so we can play the cooperative multiplayer, which is a catch as well. But we'll get to that in a second.
If that core like. If the idea of Octodad doesn't seem really fucking hilarious to you, you're probably just not even gonna have that good of a time.
I was trying my best to explain this game to Joel, and I was failing miserably.
Does Octodad, like, either when he gets scared or during that boss fight, can you, like, ink someone? Like an ink attack?
No.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
It's silly, and it's so there is like
I
an
heard
element to this game that I wasn't really expecting, and that's that like when we first played these games, it was very much just like a tech demo, and it still feels a little tech demo-y, maybe because it's a little too short, but like there's now full voice acting, and there's a lot of voice acting for all your like your family members and stuff, and they say like funny, clever things, and so there's a little bit of writing there that is kind of funny. There's even like subtitles for Octodad's blubs or whatever they call them. It's kind of like a what's the race in Mass Effect that says
The Hanar?
what they're feeling.
Hanar?
Yeah, Hannah.
No, it's the Elcor. It's the Elcor. I think.
The ones who speak so slow, they have like no inflection in their
No,
voice.
it's the Hanar.
The Hanar say what say their
They say their emotions.
No. That's the Elcor, where they're like.
Oh, yeah, right. They say
What
really
does
slow.
the Hanar do?
praising suggestion.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Yeah, you're right.
That's kind of what Octodad's like. So he'll be like,
Oh, Sci-Fi says Elcor.
Yeah.
It's legit.
like angry blub,
Yeah.
but there's no actual text. He's just responding in blubs.
I was watching you play, and at the beginning, you're getting something from the fridge. You're talking to your wife, and it said like suggestive, like something.
Suggestive blub.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. So that's kind of clever, but I find myself missing that a lot because it's all on the top of the screen and it's happening like while I'm playing the game.
I saw some dicks in the game when you were playing it too.
Dicks?
Yeah.
Like actual dicks?
Do you not remember you played it?
I don't know.
With the kid sign. God damn it, Brad.
Oh, okay. That's right.
He
I
realized.
ripped off the letters of the kids thing and I rearranged them so it said dicks.
What?
Was that challenging?
Yes. Everything is challenging.
I feel
it's like Surgeon Simulator that way. Everything is difficult.
Okay, so here's my
But you get
question.
good at it.
Maybe that's why it's so short, is they thought you'd have a more difficult time.
Well,
This game probably shouldn't have been
but
longer.
if it is that short, I feel like it's also there's like there can't be much content there because the stuff that is there is going to take you a long time to do because it's so difficult. That's
what I'm saying. There is a little bit of a story there, and that's kind of one of the reasons why you play it. And I feel like it's just long enough, and it has like this just good enough story, to where it's just, it has a good spirit to it. I'm glad I played this game.
we're going to play more of it tonight.
I don't know how much it's going to stick with me in terms of like, the gameplay or the character or whatnot, but it's more the family members that you end up liking a lot. I guess kind of.
They're all human characters, right?
Yeah. But when I heard this game was coming out, I thought it was going to be a lot more substantial than the student game that he made. When he was at like Full Sail or wherever Octodad came from, but it's really not. I mean, it's really not that much more substantial. It's just kind of different,
And it's just
only some of
it's
different.
polished though. It's more polished than that
It is
original.
definitely more polished, but like there were things I remember because there's some clips of like Carlos playing Octodad where he's like being a spy kind of, or he's like like dodging like through lasers, you know, that are like moving.
Yeah.
But none of, I mean, there's like you're a dad in Octodad. I mean, you're doing dad-like stuff.
I'm pretty sure you're an octopus.
Yeah.
An Octodad.
Who happens to be a dad? A
You're
father,
a dog.
actually.
I'm a cat.
I'm a cat.
So, anyways,
It was a nice experience. I maybe wait for like a Steam sale or something, or maybe if you had pre-ordered it, you probably got it for like $12.
Can you kind of set up what we're going to be the mode we're going to be playing tonight for new release Tuesday?
So there is a cooperative mode, but you still control the same Octodad. It's just different controllers are tied to different limbs.
So it's multiple people controlling one character.
So you're trying to work together to move Octodad around the environment and do things, which is hard enough when you're just by yourself. So it should be pretty ridiculous.
I personally can't wait to do that.
It kind of reminds me of like the PsyOps
Yeah.
or co-op play where like one person controls the legs and the other person controls the top half.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Which is funny. I mean, that's kind of like, that cooperative play in PsyOps is kind of like if there was co-op in Beyond Two Souls. It's like, because in Beyond Two Souls, her telekinetic powers are an entity.
Correct.
That has control over itself, which is kind of like what PsyOps is.
Yeah, you're
co-op.
You're supposed to be able to co-op. I haven't played it, but
Yeah,
I guess you're supposed to be able to co-op. Beyond,
you
right?
can co-op Beyond Two Souls.
In Beyond?
Yeah, so
and
like
have
the
one-
second player sits there with the controller whenever you go into like one of the Aiden sequences or Aiden.
But
movies.
you
believe
can't
it's
control them
the other,
independently.
the other person does.
Like one character can't like control the girl at the same time that one character's controlling.
No.
Aiden,
Correct.
right?
It's
no,
a
it goes
one
back
out.
and
Okay.
forth. Yeah.
That would be cool. That would be a very different game.
That
Game was
would
kind of a bummer, wasn't
But
it?
wouldn't that kind of imply that it need to be an online cooperative game only?
Probably.
I still need to
Instead
get
of
around
same
to
room,
trying that
same
game.
kind
I
of
find
game.
the time. I'm gonna find the time.
Yeah. That's one
Which
of those.
I never have the time because I'm too busy playing games like Advance Wars. Last Your Way Bradder Day was 2001, which I wasn't happy about because there wasn't a lot of 2001 games that I hadn't, like there was big games like Metal Gear Solid 2 and Devil May Cry and Final Fantasy 10, but I played all those. That's not the spirit of Your Way Bradder Day. I want to go back and play games that are somewhat under the radar that not every single body has played, or games that I just really champion. And
Had you never played Advance Wars before?
no, I've beaten every single one of them.
Wait, so then that doesn't fit your...
But that's the thing. I was so pissed off that 2001 win. I was just like, fuck you. I'm going to play Advance Wars. So I played Advance Wars.
But that doesn't make that's the complete opposite of what you just said Your Way Bradder Day is. Your Way Bradder Day is when I play games I haven't played before.
But that's when
I played all of the Advance Wars series, so I'm going to play that.
Brad.
What?
It was because they picked 2001 and I couldn't find anything. Or I couldn't
Then why'd
get
you have
anything
2001 on the poll?
Well, no,
I'm sorry, Brad. I voted for 2001.
why though?
What did you
I
say,
don't
Nick?
know.
Brad.
Oh.
Jay hit in chat brought up something about a roulette mode in Octodad. Do you know what he's talking about?
Oh, where it randomly assigns like functions.
That the controls have different,
Like it constantly swaps what the controls do.
Oh, that sounds fun.
So
Like, is that in the cooperative?
I doubt it.
I think it's separate from cooperative.
Oh man, that'd be a clusterfuck if it was cooperative and roulette mode on top of that. That'd be nuts. Anyways, we'll kind of come back if you want to say anything about the games you played during Your Way Bradder Day. But first, I want to hear. So, Crispy,
And
Yes.
not enough people played it.
you played a game. To my knowledge, at this point, the only person on the site who's played it has been Jeff. You played Kentucky.
Yeah.
You played Kentucky Route Zero.
Well, yeah.
What
Well,
brought-
I've
what
been
brought-
calling it Kentucky Route Zero.
Oh, sorry.
Sure.
Kentucky Route Zero.
I don't
I'm
know what
sorry.
the proper pronunciation is. That's
pretty
one
sure
of
it's
those
route.
mysteries. I don't know. Yeah, I bought Kentucky Route Zero during the Steam Winter Sale, I think. It was either the Winter Sale or the Fall, whatever, one of those Steam sales. I bought it because it looked like something I wanted to play, but I never got around to doing it because we were at end of the year and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So today I had nothing to do and I was poking through Steam and I found it and I was like, hey, I'm going to give this a try, you know? I remember hearing about this game. I think this was a Kickstarter game, wasn't it? Or,
I believe.
I think so, yeah.
yeah, because
It's episodic too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and there's 2 episodes right now. I don't know, but I think there's a third coming.
I think so. I remember Jeff talking about it at one point.
This is one of those games, just like Yearwalk, that Jeff has been kind of championing.
Yeah, and I kind of get that now.
I have it.
It's really cool. I mean, it's a if you've never heard of it, if you've never seen it, it's a point and click adventure. Okay, so kind of like Broken Age, like we were playing last week, like we'll be talking about later. You interact in the environment by clicking on things. Even kind of less so though than like Walking Dead or Broken Age or something like that. It seems like they kind of started with this idea for like a story, you know?
Yeah.
And then kind of decided to make it a game as opposed to the other way around, you know? Because the gameplay is actually really bare bones. There's not even that much in the way of like puzzles that you're solving or anything.
Yeah.
But part of it being a point and click adventure game puts you in the shoes of like the characters that you're playing and kind of helps elevate that sense of like mystery and confusion because there's a lot of that going on. Just to give you a basic setup, you start the game as this guy who delivers antiques. Like he works at an antique shop and his job is to make deliveries. And he's looking for an address that he can't find. Job. Yeah. He's looking for an address that he can't find and he stops at a gas station and the guy tells him, "Oh, well, that's on the other side. You're going to have to take the 0." And he just says, the 0 is, a route that you can take. I don't know. I don't think so.
Wait, what was the name of the person that bought this antique? Was it Icy Wiener?
They didn't say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a ghost.
He's in limbo.
There's definitely some kind of like supernatural element going on to it, but it's not really that like everyone's dead. It's a little more, I don't know, esoteric than that.
No one's dead.
It's really weird.
Is it what is it? Is it supposed to be like a creepy kind of like atmospheric game?
It's not creepy. No. It's not creepy, but it's definitely it's fucking trippy. Like so it's definitely like weird. Like
so it's like Lost.
So like it's like fucking Twin Peaks.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It's got a little bit like everyone's talking about like things that you don't really know about. They're kind of talking over your head as if you should have some idea about what's going on, and you're kind of just taking glimpses here and there. And trying to piece this thing together for yourself. The cool thing about it though, especially in episode 1, is that you have like your different scenes that you go around to clicking just like a regular point and click adventure game. And then to move between those scenes, you actually have like a road map that has all these different roads and locations on it, and you click on the map to drive around to go to like these different places. So they won't tell you like it won't say like you don't go out to the map and then click on the next scene or whatever. A scene will end with somebody saying like, "Oh, well, you should go talk to so and so. They live at this house up by like Birch Street or something like that. It's over by the lake." So you look at the map and then you have to just kind of drive around, and when your little icon gets in that area, you'll start seeing clickable icons around it.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what does this game look like? Is this a third-person game? You see your character walking around? It's a first-person game?
You see, it's a point-and-click, so it's like, it's super stylized. So that's one of the really cool things about this game is actually the visual styling of it. It's really minimalistic, but they do a lot of really cool effects with color and with depth. Like kind of with depth, with the like tessellation effects or something, or something like that.
Are you putting up screenshots?
So like. There's actually a part where you go to a house and there's like a road that goes all the way up this hill to the top where the house is, but you park down at the base of the hill, and it's like a dark night, it's really foggy, and as you're walking up the hill, like you just click to have him start walking, and as he ascends up the hill, the camera's like pulling back really slowly, and it pulls through like the ruins of another building, and as that's happening, the top of the hill is also kind of like coming into the foreground through the fog.
That's cool.
It is a really neat...
It's a really cool looking game.
It's a really neat effect. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, I would recommend going looking up pictures. Better yet, go look up videos of it, because seeing this all in motion is what the real beauty of it is.
And the transitions and stuff are cool.
They're really, really cool.
Up until today, because I kind of knew what the art style looked like. I mean, that I saw more pictures of it just now, but because of the art style, and I hadn't heard much about this game up until today, when I asked you if you could record footage for it, I thought the game was a freaking iOS game.
Oh yeah,
because it's just, maybe that's because Jeff was talking about it a lot, and he was he's a big Yearwalk fan, and it kind of like visually it has a lot of cool effects, just like Yearwalk, and not just like
it does have a lot of that like kind of like the depth, the 2D depth sort of. I mean, I don't know the proper term for it, but it does a lot of really cool things visually. The story, while I don't really know exactly what's going on yet, is kind of interesting.
Are you still in episode 1 or?
No, I finished episode 1 and I started episode 2. I didn't get very far into episode 2.
How long are the episodes?
The first one 96 minutes. So what?
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Hour and a half?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
That's exactly how long it took me to do the first episode.
I mean, that's like.
Can you buy them piecemeal or you have to buy
Walking
them?
Dead.
No, you just buy the whole thing. I think it's like $20 or something. But then you get all the episodes as they come out. And like I said, right now there's 2.
Which is, I was gonna play it last year for like end of the year stuff, but because only 2 episodes are out, I decided to wait till this year. So.
Yeah.
But I do have the season.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you see it on sale or something. Another cool thing I really like about it is, I mean, it's a small thing. It doesn't really mean that much in the long run. But there's a lot of dialogue choices. They all kind of take you the same direction, so it doesn't change that much by doing them. But the dialogue choices, sometimes you'll be in a situation where like you're choosing dialogue and you kind of get to like set the tone of like the scene that you're walking into, basically. So like there's one part where you've been playing the game for, about 45 minutes as this one guy, and then you switch over to this girl who he's about to meet, and you're playing as her for a little bit, and she's on the phone, and like you basically get to dictate like the whole half of her conversation, and there's options everywhere from like, oh, I love you, yeah, I can't wait to see you, to like, oh, I understand that, and then like you get cut off, or things where she's talking about like being in debt and being in money. So like you kind of get to like, the story is pretty well set, but you kind of get to set the tone for a lot of these other scenes, and a lot of those options, like when you piece them together, like end up making like these really neat little like haikus, basically. It's interesting. It's not very gamey. There's not a lot puzzle wise going on. Like
It's more about the story.
The
right?
most taxing puzzle I found in the first episode was like you had to find something in a basement, and the only way to find it was to turn off your light so you could see it glow, and then you pick it up, and that's it.
Even story, everything is very subtle in this game.
It's incredibly subtle. Like there's hardly like any music.
So I wouldn't even say you play it for the story. You're playing it for the experience.
Yeah, you're kind of playing it for like almost just for the atmosphere,
For the tone.
Yeah, which it actually so far has nailed down really well. Again, I only like at the end of the first episode is where you actually get on the zero, like this route that you've been looking for. And then the second episode starts with you kind of like lost in there. So I don't even really know like what
How do you
that's
get
all
lost
about.
on like a freeway?
Because it's not a freeway. It's like
What is it?
I'm done talking about this. All right, what's the next game?
No, I wasn't sarcastic. Like I thought it was about a freeway. I didn't realize
No,
it was
it's
like
not a freeway.
like
I
a
don't know what it is.
spooky-
It's like a. Well, first of all, the way that you actually like the way that they like get into it is really fucking weird. Like, I don't like if I explain it, it's gonna sound odd, but like basically they're fixing a television, and as they're fixing this television and like adjusting the signal, like in the background of the scene where they're doing this is like a barn, and as they're fixing it, like the barn kind of like adjusts like a television image, and then it kind of like connects into being like this tunnel that goes into a hill, and it has the Kentucky Route Zero sign on it, and then they just drive into it, and then
Because that's probably a good.
yeah,
idea.
and that's like from the end of episode 1 to episode 2, you don't actually see them like traveling through this. You just see them somewhere else,
okay.
and they say like you can't just drive around on the road. Like it's not a road that you can just get on and drive somewhere. You have to have a destination in mind. You have to be going somewhere, but at the same time, you also have to not be going somewhere. It's really weird. Like it's really hard to explain. It's really something that you just kind of have to play.
No, it sounds really interesting. The story in and of itself is something that sounds like it would appeal to me. I like that kind of weird, trippy.
It has this weird. It has like a lot of tones of like kind of this, like metaphysical meets like spirituality. Like it's really weird. But
Okay.
I definitely am enjoying it.
That's you reading into it a little bit.
If I was in this
that's
car,
not like explicit.
It's
Yeah,
not.
no,
Yeah,
it
no,
is.
it's not super explicit. But I mean, there are certain story beats where like you can kind of tell that they're setting up ideas that like you're not that aren't going to be as shocking as like, oh, this character's dead, and you're like, oh well, yeah,
So
of course.
Yeah,
if I
Which
got
is kind of like what Lost ended up doing.
if I get in my vehicle and I take a route to 0, be it through a TV or whatever, and you have to have a destination in mind. If my destination was 1939 Berlin, would I just go there? I don't really understand that.
I don't
Just
know.
Route 0 works.
It's because there's also like this idea of like there's this side and then there's another side. And again, they don't explain what the fuck that means. But on this other side, like so for instance, the road that you're trying to get to is called like it's called like Dogwood or something, right? And you get over there to this other side and you find an office building, like this really weird office building, and you're asking directions and they're saying like, oh, well, there is no Dogwood Road that I'm aware of. They changed all the names of the roads to make them more easily identifiable for the government systems or whatever. So like all the road names have these really weird now. So they're like Pale Dog Road or like, you know, Great Tree Dogwood or like they have these weird names that sound really disjointed and kind of jumbled up, but you kind of feel like that there's some sort of more esoteric system behind them. And then they said like, well, if the address that you're delivering to is just called Dogwood, there must be one out there, but we don't know where it is. We've never heard of it. Again, this is a weird
Twin
game to
Peaks
talk about.
meets Paris, Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. That is actually a pretty good analogy.
What is Paris, Texas?
It's a
movie.
yeah, it's a movie.
It's also a place.
What's that guy? He was
Why?
in the Green Mile.
I don't know. What
I
that dude's
assumed Brad
name is.
wasn't
He's done
expecting
in
it to
a
be
lot of
Tom
things.
Hanks.
No. Well, he's in a lot of things as
George
like an
Clooney.
extra, as like kind of
Green
background
Mile.
people.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't remember.
Is it the guy that married the 16-year-old?
The guy you remember the guy in Green Mile who they used when they were practicing the execution, he was the guy that they were like executing, quote unquote. And he'd be like, walking the mile,
Yeah.
walking that guy.
Okay.
He's the star.
Dean
and-
Stockwell's in Paris, Texas.
Yeah.
We all know who Dean Stockwell is.
Yeah.
We do.
Al.
Al?
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay. Wait, what are we talking about now?
Next,
I don't know, what are we talking
let's move on to Broken Age. We played that for new release Tuesday last week. Brad, have you finished that, or what's your
I
status?
have not finished. Well, because I've been trying to get through Banner Saga.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk
Well,
more
you and
about
Nolan
Banner
are both-
Saga. I will say that Banner Saga is still really cool. And stakes, man.
We'll stick with it.
It's all about the stakes.
You and Nolan have been playing Broken Age. We got kind of our first taste of it last week during new release Tuesday.
How much have you played, Nolan?
Maybe 2 hours past where we got last new release Tuesday.
Okay, so you're probably further than me. This is a really beautiful game.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
And it's funny.
No, it's
It is very charming.
I don't want to say it's gotten funnier, but the funniness hasn't
Does
stopped.
the spoon continue to make a return?
Have you met any other utensils?
A knife.
No way.
Yes.
A talking knife?
The spoon does not like the knife though. The knife is not very nice.
Wait, we're spoiling shit.
No, I won't say any
The
more
knife
about
wants to
it.
stab people, right?
I don't know.
When he wants to cut things?
Yeah, so yeah, I haven't met a fork yet, but I do.
Are
it's
you
coming.
just playing Shay's story?
No, I'm playing both. I'm kind of switching back. Like, so I played Chase for a while, and then I switched over to what's her name? So the V. I can't even remember.
Vela?
Vela.
Wait,
yeah,
is
Vela.
Shay Elijah Wood?
Yes, Elijah Wood is Shay. And I switched over to Vela, and I play her for a while, and then I kind of got stuck at one point, so I switched back to Shay. And Shay, like, I haven't gotten stuck yet. It seems like on Shay's I'm doing this and doing that, but Vela's, it seems like I've done a whole lot less on hers. So have you played? How did you? So I saw when we ended it, you were in like the cloud place on Vela. Did you play any more there?
No, I went back to Shay.
And you haven't been back yet.
No.
Okay.
I got... Well, I guess we'll talk about it later.
What?
This is a beautiful game and great writing, and I want to see more of this story.
A lot of talking though. A lot of talking.
I got to that cloud place and I got paralyzed with how much shit I can click on and
the
talk
dialogue
to.
with people. It's crazy how much is in it.
You know, it's not that I think that's a bad thing, but it's the way you drive the game and you're just walking to people and talk. Like, I don't like point-and-click adventure games. Like even in The Walking Dead, like I'm seeing this cutscene, I'm in this cutscene, I'm making choices, and then it's like, okay, now walk around and interact with all the dots, and I'm just like,
So
when it gets to that, I'm just like.
So one of the issues this game has is, you know, you'll do this, you'll do that, you interact with this, you interact with that, then you go talk to a person, and you can talk with them for like 15 minutes. and then you're pretty much almost like done
I don't
with
even
them.
think Mass Effect can say that.
Oh, and then maybe not 15, but I'm serious. Like they will have a lot of fucking all fully voiced, all great. But I mean, there's just a lot.
Yeah.
And then you pretty much don't interact with them anymore.
No, I noticed that
Pretty much.
when we were playing it last week. Like, I was really turned on by the visual style and the writing and whatnot, like we've said. But like I said, and I think more so in the other character, not Shay, but the other
Vela.
Vela.
Well,
Hers was a little bit of a slow start, and I just started to feel like it wasn't very interesting.
it's funny you
or-
say that because Shay is very much supposed to have a slow.
He has a
start.
boring life. Yeah,
Yeah.
he just does the same thing over and over again.
When you're talking to these characters for these like extended periods of time, though, this is mostly like world building information.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Most of
like
it's
it's
world building.
it's info dump on like what's going on
exactly.
in this world.
So in a couple of cases, I've actually kind of stopped saying or using I'll pick out the particular lines of dialogue I think are going to be necessary or
progress the
interesting
game.
to progress, and then I'll kind of.
I find myself getting impatient.
It's not that I'm impatient. It's just that there's so much. It's like if it had been broken up. And I interact with this person, I say a few things, they only have 3 options, and then maybe I talk to them again later, then that'd be one thing. But the
You're
thing
right,
is, you
just
go
like
and
a
you talk to a
dump.
person, and there's just
But-
big info dump.
does this mean then, since this is all like just kind of this is all like narrative material, does that mean that later on that might be pared down a little bit because you already kind of
Probably.
have a better
Probably.
view of the world?
And I'm sure at the beginning there's going to be a whole lot of dialogue, and later on it's going to be a little bit less. But the thing is, so far as Vela, I've been to 3 different places, like completely different places. And so every time I go to this place, there's
Like,
like
oh, this is what this place is.
exactly.
This is
So you
who
can
we
have to kind
are.
of learn a
Like,
little more.
Yeah.
With Shay,
Ha-
everything I play with him, I've been on the ship.
Have you? So you haven't gotten to a part where they've like interacted at all?
No.
So what's
So
the,
I will say
Wait.
I did learn something
Okay.
that connects them.
Okay.
I won't say what
Right.
because I'm not really 100% sure on it.
I mean, we know that there has to be some kind
Correct.
of connection between these characters.
Wouldn't that be weird if you got to the end of the credits roll and you're like, why were there 2 characters?
No,
Like,
like,
there was just two action games
There
or
is
two-
another. There's a part 2 also.
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
correct. But no, so I've learned something, and it was literally just in passing, in dialogue with somebody that connects them. And I won't get into it, but I don't know how that's going to be connected. I don't know. But as Shay, the ship is actually pretty big, and so there's actually a lot to explore. And so I've been doing a lot of that on the ship, collecting new items and stuff like that, and seeing how. And so one thing I will tell people, because I got stuck as Vela,
Okay, which one of you
On a
chose
puzzle?
the guardian
kind of. Some items in your inventory can interact with each other.
east?
Yeah.
Like
I
you
didn't
can
know
stack
that.
'em or something?
Yes, I didn't know that, and I got fucking stuck on this goddamn puzzle for like at least half an hour. Like trying to do this, trying to walking up to everything that was interactive and trying to use each item on it because I couldn't figure it out. And then finally, when I figured out, oh, you can combine items. Well, that's
Well, ultimately, that
Well,
wasn't
suddenly
clever.
this is
I feel
much
like-
easier.
I feel like adventure game puzzles are only fun when they're super clever. Like the
And-
cutting the cupcake.
And
thing.
so you know
Yeah.
what? This was clever. Like when I think about it, I honestly think a character I had talked to had kind of mentioned something to do with that, but I think I might have missed it because I was like either talking with Bernadette or something. Because I played this with Bernadette, and so I think we might have been talking, and maybe it was just because I skipped a line of dialogue in that tree with that person that kind of let me know that I could combine them or that I should try to.
There's something about fucking adventure games where like at some point there's just a tedium that I'm just talking about myself because I've never really liked the genre where in your actual interactions with the game are very like limit. Like I almost kind of wish that I was watching a movie, like Broken Age the movie or the short film or something, because I love the characters seem great and the writing is great and the visually it's stunning. But man, I don't want to play the thing.
But I
in
feel-
fact, I don't even think I want to watch someone play the game either. I want to watch
The story
this
play
world
out.
and these characters and this story and this writing, not in this form.
That's what you're saying.
I feel like because episodic content is becoming so popular, though, that's kind of like that's working in its favor. Obviously, because if this was
Yeah.
like the fact that you can sit down and you'd be like, okay,
right.
let me just give it an hour and a half and I'll knock out the episode, and then I won't have to worry about it, or I won't be playing it again for another month, and then by that time that TDM feeling may have dissipated.
Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even like this when I had to walk around an environment and click on shit in Walking Dead. So like I always give the controller to Malia. Like anytime we get to one of those, like, okay, now interact with all the dots, because I hate that.
Yeah.
It's like that's like the game. I mean, that's like
I know. That's why I don't like these games.
oh
I don't.
man.
It one of the things I loved about Double Fine is because Double Fine, you know, they have this history making these LucasArts adventure games. You know, like like Monkey Island games, but also like Full Throttle, Grim Fandango, stuff like that, right? But then when they started Double Fine, their first game was Psychonauts. Yep. And all of a sudden, it's like all these things that were great about these old adventure games: the writing, the story, the world, the atmosphere, the humor. But like all of a sudden, it's a platformer with like some really interesting level design that's super different from world level to level. There's no fucking level design in a point-and-click adventure game.
It's just a pretty picture with some dots to interact
Well,
with.
I don't want to say that. I mean, there are puzzles, but I mean, like they took what was great about those old games and put it in another type of game, and they kind of did that with Brutal Legend, but Brutal Legend had its own issues, and then they're stacking like they did.
I love stacking.
They
so
did
much.
these. They did what was great about those old games and like these new formulas, and I know the whole point of this Kickstarter was to make an old school point and click adventure game. I understand that. I just feel like in the back of my mind I kept thinking, well, this is a new era, so even though they're going to make an old school point and click adventure game, maybe I'll like it more. But I'm running into the same problems.
Yeah.
Where I just get impatient and it feels tedious, and it's good, but it's not.
Man, there's a lot of point and click, especially from
I'm gonna finish it.
especially from Telltale coming out this year.
Well, see,
I don't know how much of that's coming out this year.
The thing about those Telltale games is they're very like you're just like a lot of those scenes you're just kind of watching play out.
Correct.
You're not playing them. You're just picking choices. That's fine because they're high stakes and you're really into it. You know what I mean? But there's like a languid pace to Broken Age where you're just walking around and talking to random
definitely
things. There's like
It definitely feels like a very different breed of point and click adventure
Absolutely.
than Telltale.
It is.
Speaking of Telltale, there's going to be the second episode of The Wolf Among Us is finally out.
Yep.
And it looks like they're teasing The Walking Dead of season 2, episode 2 is coming out next week, is what people are assuming, based on their teasers. So yeah, get ready for that. That's gonna be interesting. The thing, what is going on with The Wolf Among Us, man? That came out how many months ago was that? I have already forgotten like half the shit that happened during that first episode.
Going on 4 months.
You remember that? I mean,
It'll
they
come
do
in
a
3 months.
refresher, so
It'll come back to me. It's just
Yeah.
man, that was
Really,
a long-
I remember it all.
it was a long break. I mean,
The frog?
everybody's memory is a little bit different.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
the pig,
Oh, that wasn't really good.
the Snow White.
Yeah, there's Snow White. There was
Oh man, the mirror.
with Beast. Was that Beast? That was that
The
who it was
huntsman?
outside the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that was
Yeah.
funny.
There's some good stuff. I should
Yeah.
probably play that.
I'm glad that the South Park game is an RPG.
Right?
Oh my god!
Because like if that was just a point and click adventure game, I'd probably be a little bummed.
I got into
I'd play
I
it.
got into a little argument about that last night.
Oh man, here we go.
I was upset.
What
I
happened?
can't remember who it was. Somebody in chat, Cody something maybe.
South Park is stupid.
No, he was like, "Why is that game $60?"
What?
I'm like, "Well, because it's gonna be a good game." And he was like, "Well, it doesn't look very good.
It's AAA product.
It looks like South Park." And he's like, "Well, it's gonna be short. It's Obsidian. It's not gonna be short." Like all of his excuses were kind of. I think at one point I said, "I don't think you know what the fuck you're talking about." like this game is, I think, going to be well. I think one of his arguments was the fact that it was $60 on PC,
Now, if he had
whereas
said,
it's normally $50 for a PC game. And so I guess I can see that him getting a little upset about
yeah.
that. But
That's
I mean,
Ubisoft, though.
I don't know why they're doing 60 for PC.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. That's why it's Ubisoft.
But
Ubisoft.
if he had said the game's going to be buggy, you would probably had to have gone.
Oh yeah, it's Obsidian. It's gonna be buggy.
Sure.
Well,
Dude,
hopefully-
bugs in a South Park game are gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, maybe.
But they're not gonna be like Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah,
bugs,
no,
or
they won't.
like-
Have you seen the new videos they released for it? Like, they released
Apparently-
a couple little teaser trailers,
Which
some,
videos?
some 30-second trailers, and some just a couple of ones that came out the other day.
I haven't, and I don't know that I'm going to.
You might as like hold
I
off
think-
on it.
I
I mean,
think
it
I-
comes out soon.
I think
I'm
gonna,
still concerned about.
I'm gonna turn around one day and South Park the game is gonna be there, and I'm gonna
you say
be like,
one day, but it's a month from now.
I'm
Well,
still-
I know, no, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
dilute myself on.
The only thing I will say is I saw one with Mr. Hanky. There's a video, and apparently he has a wife.
Oh, with the he had the wife and kids.
I forgot about that, but
Cornwallis.
yeah, Cornwallis, yeah. But they were in this like little like
He was
video they showed.
born
Don't say it.
special.
I really like South Park, but I have not seen every fucking episode of South Park.
Neither have I.
And I'm worried that I really hope the game doesn't rely too much on references to be funny.
I'm sure a lot of
Because I'll miss a lot of it.
I'm sure a lot of them are going to be references that if you had seen them before are going to be funny. But I think also in that scene, seeing it for the first time will still be funny.
I hope so.
I think they're going to have stuff that almost to someone who's watched the show as much as I have might be a little repetitive. But the thing is, I don't care. Like I've watched each episode of the more recent seasons like 3 or 4 times each. I'll watch them all again because they're still funny each time, and also because the humor is so clever. I'll find something new every single time I watch it that I didn't see or hear before.
Should I start poop socking South Park?
Dude, fucking do it. Man, that show's
I mean,
amazing.
it's a good show. Like,
Some of the later
I'm not.
seasons
I
are
don't
even
think.
good.
I don't
the
think
better.
you should necessarily do it to increase your enjoyment of the game because I think the game is gonna be great
It's on
either
its
way.
own. It'll be great.
But it's a good show. Nolan and I are both huge fans of it. Like, it's a fantastic show.
No, I
That Black
but I
Friday
don't
trilogy
know.
was pretty awesome.
I don't
that
know.
was pretty good. The Red
Anyways,
Robin
we're not here to
wedding.
talk about South Park right now. We'll be talking about that in a month when it comes out.
Yep.
A lot, I'm sure.
Yep. Is that a month from today?
Oh God, I don't. What is it? What's the release date? March.
I think it's the week before.
I'm gonna guess it's probably coming out on a Tuesday.
Week before Dark Souls, which is the 11th.
Yeah. Dark Souls the same day as Titanfall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a week. That's a month from today.
Anyways,
That's
so let's before we close up the first segment, let's talk. Is there anything y'all want to throw out there as far as little things you've been playing? I know
Playing stuff.
you might want to rap a little bit about Dark Souls,
Mhm.
just a little bit.
Mhm.
What's no?
Dark Souls rap. What's up, knowledge?
So I'm playing Dark Souls.
No,
No, so I've been playing more Dark Souls. I honestly, last night going in, I was like, I'm gonna beat this game tonight, and no, like not so ever. Dark Souls was like, ha ha ha, fuck you, and definitely didn't beat Dark Souls. I got through all of Duke's archives. Dude, fuck the fucking Crystal Place, man. That was ridiculous.
Is that with all like
The crystal golems and like the invisible like paths and the leap of faith Indiana Jones shit.
Yeah. And
Wait,
did you use the
what? Where?
Nope.
the stones or
Nope.
whatever? You just
Nope.
watched the
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup. I forgot I had those stones.
That's the tracker.
Wait, where is
Yep.
it?
In Duke's Archives, you go to an outside place and there's a bunch of crystal golem guys, and you go down to like a big crystal place right before you fight Seath.
Yeah. Oh, you're pretty far in the game.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm pretty.
Yeah, he's
I-
collecting the Lord souls.
Yeah,
Like,
I
he's
think all I have
almost
left
ready.
is the DLC, and then
I didn't ever did the
Tomb of the Giants, and then whatever. I don't know what comes after that. Don't tell me.
Tomb of the Giants.
Don't tell me.
It's called Kiln of the First Flame.
I'm surprised you haven't
Fuck
done
you.
Tomb of the Giants.
I haven't because I don't have any fucking kind of light.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
have
right.
a-
You know what?
You gotta go get that sunlight. I forget what it's
You
called.
know what?
That sunlight helmet.
You
with
didn't
the
either?
fucking-
Did Tomb of the Giants with
with a lantern.
Wait,
the lantern.
I don't have a lantern.
Wait, I feel like
it's gonna be dark in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. How about you go watch my playthrough from last night and watch me? Oh, it's dark. Go slow, Nolan. Go slow. So I go slow, fall off an edge. Go slow,
Yeah. Dude,
slow, fall
it's-
off an edge.
It's terrible.
No, you just gotta like run at those lights and just pray.
But that's the thing. Like I got to a point where it's like, oh, there's a light. So I walk towards it. Oh, there's a light. It's on a ledge below me. So all I had was my pyromancy. So I threw a flame down there, and I saw, oh, it's only like a 10-foot drop. So I jump off. Turns out it's a 10-foot drop, but there's also like a 5-foot gap in between that with a hole that goes down 40
The
feet.
thing is, you found that shortcut, right?
Which
in
shortcut?
the catacombs.
Yeah.
So even fucking open the Tomb of the Giants shouldn't be that big of an issue because you can
Well,
get back there real
it's
quick.
not. Yeah, it's not that it's just like I did that and I was doing it towards the end of the last night. So I mean, I kind of stopped after that. I also did some of the DLC and it was giving me some trouble. Like the DLC is it's pretty difficult. There are these giant golem, like stone golem guys, or I don't know, like stone guards or something. I don't remember what they're called. And they have these giant fucking hammers, and they have a huge reach on them, and they will like slam it down, and then they'll do an uppercut like with it.
You know what turned me off from ever playing the DLC? One, I lost my Dark Souls save, but
That would be a big reason.
But the other thing is, I saw Mike playing a bunch of it. He was having a really hard time, and he's good at Dark Souls.
And you were just like,
he was stuck on this fucking boss for hours.
I've never played the DLC. What is it?
Stuff.
It's
Just
I don't know.
I mean, is it just like one area?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I'm sure. So you get to it.
And does it take place like kind of in the same time span as
yes,
the rest
to
of the
my
game?
knowledge.
Okay.
To my knowledge, I don't really know a whole lot about the lore about it.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit.
But I
more.
mean, I got sucked through like a portal to get there, and so now I'm there. And you can at this point you can warp, so you can just warp between bonfires to get out of it. But the DLC starts with a boss fight, which was pretty tough. But it was fun though. I mean, I beat him on my first try.
Because
it was tough
fuck
though.
you.
Yeah. And then
Which seems to be like the theme of this game.
yeah.
Because
And
fuck
so
you.
I'm fighting. You go into this next area, and there are all these guys who look really weak, but they have pitchforks and then like giant scissors. Like I guess they're gardeners.
Yeah.
Like I don't really know who these guys are.
Of course.
But it's them, and they're not bad. The thing is, they'll bunch up on you though.
Oh, dude,
And there'll be like 5 or 6 of them at a
like
time.
fucking everything.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
play it every Monday.
That's true.
What else have you been playing?
So the other game I kind of started playing is the Magic
Final
games.
Fantasy? Oh, those are good games.
Yeah, so
Which
I
ones?
the Magic 2013 and Magic 2014. So I didn't buy them.
Duel the Planes.
I didn't buy them. I was just playing the demos. And because the thing is, 2014, Jesus fucking Christ, that game runs like shit on my iPad.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't played any of the iOS versions.
Yeah, because I mean, I like it because it's Magic.
Yeah,
It's fun.
it is.
Brad and I played quite a bit of Magic. It's a fun game. I like it on my iPad because I can just pick it up and whatever, just play a couple of hands and like turn it off. I don't. If it's on my PC, I'm a little more dedicated to it.
Sure.
But the thing is, this iPad is less than a year old, and the game runs like shit on it. Like video files, like fucking a video. Like the video intro of the game is like skipping and like
the videos in that
At least there's
game
not
are-
a mouse cursor.
There's not.
guess.
They're not very great to begin with.
Well, I don't
anyway.
care that they're
Like,
great. I don't understand. I'm like, wait,
No, no.
But when you're
yeah.
actually playing the game, is it not smooth? And
so it's kind of glitchy. Like there are times when certain text won't show up, or there have been times when I zoomed in on an enemy's card and it was like the option to play this card and activate this ability were on there, and I'm like, I can't.
Did you do
that.
it?
No, I
Well,
tried. I tried.
and it wasn't it wasn't an ability. That
It
could
wasn't
be
something I
activated.
could do.
Yeah.
It was just like for some reason the game was like, oh, would you like, and then it like it's crashed on me several times.
Oh, that's like...
And actually, the funny thing is, I started playing this randomly, and then the other day, Nathan Fillion started tweeting at Magic and Blizzard's Wizards of the Coast. Thank you, and Blizzard. Yeah, a little mixed up there. He was like, "How about this? I give you $20 and you give me 2 games that don't crash." Like, I mean, he was getting like super upset with them because I guess he plays Magic. And like, yeah, 14 has crashed on me so many times, and that's what stopped me from buying, because the game is $10, which I mean, it's not a whole lot for a game. That's one of the I think I saw.
on PC, they go on Steam
Dude,
sale all the
Yeah,
time.
that's true. That's true.
I get it on.
And so the fun. I don't know who I was talking with this about the other day, but I saw a Vine or something, and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, check out my new Jordans." And I have $300. Like, oh wow, and you want to see this iPhone app? How much is it? $1? Fuck that shit. Because people are so unwilling to pay for like apps on phones, which is unrealistic. But my thing is,
squeeze $10 out of somebody.
yeah, it's $10, and I would buy it if it didn't run like shit.
Have you ever played Ascension?
I've heard of Ascension. I haven't played it.
Yeah, that's
though.
another card game on like mobile. That developer Playdeck are the ones that are working with
Doing
Matsuno to
yeah,
make
yeah,
Unsung
yeah.
Story.
Ascension's supposed to be like super popular, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
yeah.
And they have done some other stuff on iOS that's really popular as well.
When you were playing 2014, did you happen to check out Draft Play at all?
Draft Play?
Yeah, it's a cool new thing they added for 2014 where you actually like open fresh booster packs and build a deck
really?
like, on the spot there.
No, I didn't.
And then
do
you
that.
can save. Like I think when you buy the game, they give you like 2, maybe 3 save slots for like your own custom decks, which is something they haven't had before.
Yeah,
because
it's
you
not-
always
not
play
in
the
2013,
pre-built. Yeah,
correct.
you always play the pre-built decks. And then I think you can like buy more deck slots or something like that. But it's actually really neat, and that's a big thing that like hardcore Magic players get into is like the draft play because it shakes things up, you know. But yeah, no, I thought I thought that alone was worth an upgrade from 2013
we should
to
do that.
2014.
Like that's a really cool way to play Magic the Gathering, like in real life. It's just,
but besides that, dude, fuck this one NPC you have to fight in that goddamn game. He's fine.
Was it one of the challenges or one of the actual decks?
No, just one of the fucking decks. Like, gee, it was a white deck, like what was it called, the Plains?
Yeah,
whatever. Like, fuck that shit. So everything was based on like humans, and he had this
the fucking token deck.
Yes.
Yeah, the Call to Arms deck. I
don't know if that's what it's called or not.
It's one where like you summon a shit ton of human.
Yes.
Or they have a bunch of human creatures that bring in human tokens whenever they are summoned onto the field, and then you have a couple like high level creatures that you just sacrifice a shit ton of tokens to boost their power up.
So
or like,
it's like you have this. There's one creature, and anytime a human enters the battlefield, he gets a 1/1 added onto him.
Oh my god!
But there's one creature that he can sacrifice himself, and he puts 2 humans on the battlefield. And also he has an artifact that anytime a human enters the battlefield, he gets life, and it's this big clusterfuck of him just boosting up his guys and getting more life, and fuck you.
Dude.
Jesus Christ, it is fucking ridiculous.
I play that deck all the time on 2014, and the problem with that deck is if you don't get a cap on it
soon,
like in the first couple turns, like they're just gone.
Plus,
just gone.
all of the guys like 1 mana.
Yeah. So like
ridiculous.
they have a shit ton of things like Attended Knight. It's like 2 or 3 mana to cast, and every time it comes into play, it puts like a 2/2 human creature and then a Squire token into play that's a 1/1 human creature. And then you have like 3 or 4 of those, and then they have like instants or like spells that are like raise the alarm, and it puts 3 1/1 tokens in the field.
they just
like,
need
it's
an
great.
overrun.
Great.
Of course,
Guys,
that's green. Okay,
I'm sorry.
Why are we talking about Magic?
I have no idea what's going on right now.
We're talking about Dark Souls, Nick.
No, you're not. I've been paying attention.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing.
what you said.
I heard what you said. Anything else you want to add before we cut to break?
That's really all.
No,
That's
no.
really all. I've
You don't
been
want to hear
playing.
me talk about Final Fantasy 13 too?
Yeah, play a little more.
Do you like Final Fantasy 13 too?
I do.
Okay.
Oh, someone tweeted me a picture of what the bombs look like in that game.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Oh,
I forgot
What do they
about that.
look
I
like?
would have brought that up last week if I remembered
They
that. But
don't look. Like
they're not
the
bombs.
really.
They look like how would you describe that, Brad?
Not like Final Fantasy bombs.
like
no.
red
Like-
testicles.
No, they're like boxes with like
What?
God,
Boxes
with like
Do they still have faces? And
not really.
do they just look like orange haunters?
They
Let's
just
let's just move on.
they just look like boxes with like
They don't look
12
like bombs.
sides. I can't, there's probably a name for that. I just can't think of it on top of my head. With no faces, and they just grow until they explode.
Would that be a dodecahedron?
Yeah, dodecahedron.
Yeah,
Right.
sure. Let's go
So
with
it's-
that.
I think it's
Is that
dodecahedron.
dodeca is the...
Who cares? We'll see you
Anyways,
after the break, guys.
yeah.
Bye.
Hey. Nice. We did it at the same time. We both slapped Brad at the same
I was
time.
giving him a high five.
Anyways, I'll save my impressions of that till later. So
yeah, as I play a little more.
I'm like 13 or 14 hours into this game,
Oh, that's
so
quite a bit.
I've been playing it quite a bit.
You've been strutting around here, really proud of your 13 hours number. Now you're turning it into 14.
I'm
There's
guessing. It's
something
'cause I'm
very
guessing.
cool about it being 13.
You're
Sure.
skewing it.
I've played about 13 hours of Final Fantasy 13 too. Anyways, so I'll talk about that more. I think Lightning Returns comes out. Is it next week? No, it's not next week. It's
I don't-
soon. Actually, it is
Wait,
next week.
You've also been playing 13 hours of Final Fantasy 13?
No, he said
No.
13.
No, he finished 13.
He finished
I
13.
finished 13 last week. Remember?
He said 13.
Whatever.
I
Anyways,
think I said 13
13
earlier.
hours of 13.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut the break. We're gonna come back on the other side. We have some news to talk about. We're gonna talk about Nintendo and their financial bullshit and
Wait, not financial.
That's some
Their
other stuff.
announcements.
their announcements regarding, which all stemmed from their financial troubles that they've been having, as well as a few other things. And of course, if you're watching us live, we're at 4pp.tv. Please stick around after the show. We will be playing Octodad, Dadliest Catch, but we're going to be playing the cooperative mode, which should be fun, should be funny. So stick around for that. And yeah, that's it. So stick with us, guys. We'll be back. Thank you. I was trying to get someone to do something like that.
So say you want us to start it up.
I did say start it up. Anyways, welcome back to the show.
Hey guys.
We have a lot to talk about news-wise, so let's jump into it. I wanted to start with... No, that's coming later. We're going to talk about Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes right now. There's a bit of a controversy surrounding the value proposition of the game. So I guess this was kind of originated from the Game Informer. Was it Game Informer?
Yes.
It was Game
Yeah, the
Informer.
Game Informer is the outlet that had they had an event where they were able to sit down and play the game and kind of delve into it. And the quote from their description said something to the effect of, "We spent 4 hours with the game, played the campaign, and toyed around with some of the other modes that are available in the game," which has since been, I guess, confirmed by staff from Game Informer that yes, the campaign can be actually finished in less than 4 hours, and some people even saying as low as 2 hours.
Game Informer said 2 hours.
Game Informer came out and said 2 hours specifically.
They responded saying that they finished the campaign in about 2 hours.
They said they finished the story in 2 hours. It took them 4 hours to
plus extra shit
with extra stuff.
So I still feel so. I guess a 2 hour. So we already kind of knew for a long time that Ground Zeroes was being approached as like a prologue to Grand Theft Auto.
Correct.
Why do I keep saying Grand Theft Auto? To Metal Gear Solid 5. I guess the controversy stemming from that this game is being. They're charging. Depending on there's different options depending on whether you're doing it downloadable or getting it retail, and what platform you're playing it on, and it ranges anywhere from $30 to $60, or is it $60? $30 to $40,
yeah.
depending on whether you're doing downloadable or retail. Retail being $40, downloadable being $30. $30. But even so, for 2 to 4 hours of content, the value proposition comes into what?
Nothing.
What are you pointing at? Comes into the play here because. Is it worth paying $40 or $30 even for 2 hours of content? Essentially,
It's
what
not
is
2 hours of content?
That's 2 hours of story.
2 hours of story? The thing is,
So do you think
To an
you're
extent
going to play
here-
this game for 4 hours?
no. I was going into this expecting it was going. I kind of expected going into this was going to be like a 4 hour campaign. I was going to spend another 6 to 7 hours just fucking around, learning the mechanics, playing in the world, finding all of the Easter eggs that are clearly going to be hidden throughout this game.
I mean, I feel like Metal Gear Solid is all about kind of fucking around,
Yeah.
Like
No,
that's
is.
why I can play a 20-minute demo for hours and days.
Well, the thing is, if you look at any Metal Gear Solid game,
Yeah.
the stories of those games have never been super long.
Well, 3 and 4 are long.
They were decently long when you don't know what you're doing, I guess.
I mean, I spent 18 hours with Metal Gear
When
Solid
you know
4.
what you're doing, you can like fucking charge through those games.
Yeah.
Well, how
Especially the
many
first
hours
two.
of that were cutscenes though?
About 3 or 4.
Yeah, exactly. That what I'm saying, a huge chunk of it was probably cutscenes. And so, but I'm saying like when I went back and played them recently, you can get through them really fucking quick. And the draw to these games has never been the length of them. Now, I'm not arguing that 2 hours is pretty short for $30, but then, Brad beat Octodad in 2 hours.
Yeah, and we had a discussion about the value proposition there too. when
So
Octodad came
that's
out.
what I'm saying though, and so I mean it just depends on the game, and I think there's probably a lot of content in this game besides
think of
the
the
story.
structure of this game, though. Like, we don't even know that 2 hours of story. First of all, how did they word that? That's curious. Like, this is an open-ended thing. You have.
Well, Metal Gear Solid 5 is open-ended.
No, so is this.
And this is... But it's also going to be in a much smaller scale,
You're
though.
right. It's in a smaller scale, but it is not like Metal Gear Solid 4. You're not progressing through like a linear path. I mean, you have like like chapter 2 of Metal Gear Solid 4, right?
Correct.
But even less linear, like more open than that. You know what I mean? Like this seems like they just give you an environment to kind of fuck around in, which is perfect for Metal Gear, right? So whatever the story, the main story campaign, don't just say story period, is 2 hours long. But I mean, I just think of like how many times I replayed those demos over and over again. How many times I played, the actual games like Metal Gear Solid 1 over and over and over again. Like, if we're really talking about value proposition, like I'll gladly throw down $30 to play this because I really want to play a new Metal Gear anything.
No,
Like really badly. And like like when a lot of people bought bought Zone of the Enders to play, you know, Metal Gear Solid 2, the demo.
How much was that game when it came out?
That's $50, of course. Yeah, I mean, you know that.
I mean, a lot of people did the same thing for the Rising demo.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What did Rising come with again?
Zone
of the Enders HD.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is right.
I mean, another
That's
thing to
funny.
consider too is like this isn't like just some dinky little. Okay, dinky's not the right word, but this isn't some small indie production. Like this is gonna have the full benefit of the new Fox engine.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be like a pretty high production value product, even if it is short. You know.
Yeah. Let's be honest though. This would not be the first time we've paid $60 for a 4-hour experience. And this won't even if this game is as good as we're kind of expecting it to be, being a Metal Gear Solid game. It also isn't the first time we've paid $60 for a 4-hour experience that happened to be a really good 4-hour
It's also
experience.
it's not $60.
Sorry, full price. Let me just say,
Even if you were buying the retail version at $40.
I am personally buying the retail version
You know
at
what,
$40, so it's a little bit more of a value
I think
proposition for
the
me.
thing that's upsetting people is the fact that this is just the prologue to Metal Gear Solid 5, and so they're going to spend $30, today, and then whenever, another $60 for the most part. So probably end up spending $90 to $100.
And I was talking to Chris Davis during the break, and he actually brought up an interesting point that I thought of too. Is that like they haven't really confirmed this or not yet, but is this content going to be available? Like when you buy the Phantom Pain when it comes out, is this going to be in that? Is this going to be
Like,
part
are
of
you
it?
essentially going to be
I don't
buying
think
This
so.
is a separate
the
thing.
fear being that you're going to be paying for the same content twice.
Yes.
This
No.
was a separate thing, like from the get-go, even before we even knew about Metal Gear Solid 5. We knew about Ground Zeroes, this thing. They
Right.
showed footage of this game ages ago, and but the thing is, like you're right, it might be a little overpriced, but you're funding Metal Gear Solid 5 by buying this thing. Like this is
Which is no doubt.
Konami
It's almost like a Metal Gear Solid 5 Kickstarter.
kind of.
Except they're giving you a game
with backer,
right away.
backer benefits
Yeah,
immediately.
I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, Konami's not in great shape these days. All they have is Metal Gear, and I imagine that Metal Gear Solid 5 is a very, very expensive game. This is like Grand Theft Auto 5 Prologue funded Gran Turismo Prologue funded like Gran Turismo 5. That made a lot of money that let them kind of take their time and like really make the game the way they wanted it. And I feel like we're gonna get, by going out to buy this game, we're probably gonna get something that's pretty rad. But we're gonna probably get a better Metal Gear Solid 5 because of it, because it'll give them the financial freedom to kind of make that
True.
game as good as it
But
needs to be.
also talking about this being a 2 to 4 hour experience is completely different in the fact that it is a Metal Gear Solid game. So we can expect a good portion of that already short amount of time you're playing to be cutscenes.
Not necessarily.
Unless
it might not be
during
that type of game.
unless during that 4 hour or unless during that play session that Game Informer did, they were skipping cutscenes.
I don't think that's necessary. I don't know. I mean,
They only had 4 hours to play it, and they finished the campaign and did other stuff.
So that's what I'm saying. If they only have 4 hours, they might have been rushing a bit. If they knew
That's
they were on a
true.
time limit, they might have been rushing and trying to just run through it. Oh,
and they
alert,
probably had a
whatever.
developer sitting at their side
Helping them
telling them
And
what
that's
to
the
do.
thing. I mean, Metal Gear, you take your time, you fuck around, because poking at a Metal Gear game is what makes those games so
Yeah,
great.
testing the
you know?
edges, testing the limits, seeing if let me try this out. Let me,
Yeah.
that fucking guy who played Metal Gear Solid 3 and he has that 11-minute run through of like throwing down magazines and like. Have you seen that one with the
Yeah.
whole? He's wearing like the monkey mask and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's so well
fucking
choreographed.
Yeah, it's this choreographed like 11.5-minute video that he has to be perfect on. That's because you know how Metal Gear games work because you play them so much. You learn
Yeah,
that
quirks
guards
and
have a
stuff.
cone of vision. They can only see. They can't see you if you're standing right next to them.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And so I mean, that's why Metal Gear Solid games are fun. It's just because there's so many little nooks and crannies to explore.
Idiosyncrasy.
Yeah, that's a good word for it too. I was telling Nick earlier when we were talking about this when the news came out that one of the things that they could do to, I guess, appease people a little more is have a Ground Zeroes PS4 bundle. where it's like the regular price of the PS4, but you get Ground Zeroes for free, like included in it.
I feel like that would boost sales of the PS4 enormously, and it would also boost the amount of people who are going to eventually throw down money to purchase Phantom.
Because I mean, this
Pain.
game is going to be on the Fox engine, and I've seen like Kojima tweets all the time, and I've seen the difference in between what it looks like on the PS3 versus the PS4, and it looks so much better on the PS4, and I would definitely love to play it on the PS4. The reason I bought my PS3 was for Metal Gear Solid 4. My PS3 was the Metal Gear Solid 4 bundle, and so I would definitely be willing to buy a PS4 if it came bundled with it.
I think for a lot of people, even though this is like causing a big stir today, because this is when it came up, is that, I mean, despite all that, there's still a lot of people out there who are like, I'm still going to throw down money, no questions asked, because
Well,
it's
I think it's because Kojima has proven himself as you're going to be getting something good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know there were a lot of complaints with Metal Gear Solid 4 being so many cutscenes and stuff. That it's a fucking amazing game, in my opinion.
It was still great.
Yeah.
Is it true that it's only $20 on PS360?
if you download it on PS3 and
Oh, it's only
360.
$20 on the PS3 if you
I
download it?
think it's 20 if you download it on PS3 and 360, 30 if you buy it on retail for PS3 and 360, and then 30 if you download it on PS4 and
And
Xbox
40,
One,
yeah,
and
okay,
then
I
40
see.
if you buy it on.
I see.
Yeah, so there's a $10 difference depending on which version you get. So I don't know. It's an interesting pricing structure, but I mean, I'm just glad they're releasing it in both retail and download. It gives you a lot of options. So. But I don't know. It's still super exciting because that is coming next month.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to believe we're going to be playing Metal Gear Solid 5 next month. To an extent.
Prologue to it.
Some of it.
It's also kind of exciting to think that we're going to be getting a new Metal Gear Solid 5 or a new Metal Gear Solid next month that could also still be drastically different than the Metal Gear Solid 5 we're going to play in a year plus time. So, anyways, I guess we'll kind of have to wait and make our final judgment when the game hits.
It's coming soon, and it's going to do a good job of satiating my need for a new Metal Gear game.
When did 4 come out?
2008?
That game came
This is a
out.
long fucking time ago.
No, it was it was 8. No,
yeah.
no,
No, it's 8.
no. It was 7.
No, 8.
It had to have been
Chris is telling us.
2007.
Chris is wrong.
2008.
Yeah, it was at the beginning of 2008.
Because
then.
we were broadcasting when that game came
Yeah,
out.
it was the beginning of 2008,
That game came out the day I got back from my trip to China.
which was in 2008.
I got off a 22 or I don't remember 16 to 20 hour flight or whatever. Went straight to GameStop and picked up my fucking Metal Gear Solid 4 pre-order,
Bro, you're hardcore.
and I still played it that night. It was pretty sweet. The game's pretty sweet.
It's a good game, man.
It's a damn good game. Anyways, let's switch gears here for a second. Talk about Nintendo. Brad, I feel like you had some things you wanted to bring up that regarding. So this is kind of building off of we talked about it a few weeks ago. Nintendo is having all these financial problems. I'm sure everybody is aware at this point. People are taking pay cuts. They had a press conference where they talked about their issues with the Wii U not stacking up to their expectations and what they've talked about doing and the way they've talked about turning that around. So
They also just bought like $1.6 billion shares of their $1 billion worth of their
No,
own stock
they
back.
bought. Yeah, they
Like,
bought them from the family that owned them.
Yeah.
The what's this called? What's his face?
It
The
starts
dude
with
who
a Y.
died recently.
I can't remember or pronounce it.
The owner of Nintendo.
Yeah, but they bought the shares back.
Things are happening.
Things are happening.
But
There's also been a lot of talk about what Nintendo is planning to do moving forward in terms of how they're going to approach new hardware and how they're going to position their current software lineup and go what kind of audiences they're going to try and target with their new
So
their new
they
products.
sort of detailed some of their strategies, their plans, because part of saying, "Hey, we have these terrible projections and we lost all this money," is to like announce what they plan on doing. And oh my god,
Was
I
that-
just lost it?
So was that
What a
Iwata that
shitty fucking program.
was that Iwata that took the pay cut?
Yeah.
So that was a big pay cut.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's like 50%
that's
pay cut or
fucking
something
Japanese
crazy.
business. That's not
Yeah.
that weird. But yeah, it still makes a lot of money. So, like, they announced some strategies, and people in chat might have to help me out here, because I just sort of lost some of it. So they announced that one of the things they're doing is they plan on releasing. It's not just a product, but they're entering a new business, as they call it, and that business is like fitness tech.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a handheld video game
It's
system. This is not a
the-
console.
Is this not
This
even?
is-
Is this even a video game thing at all? Is this just?
It's like the heart rate monitor, right?
Yeah, it's like
the
a Fitbit.
the vitality
Well,
sensor.
You
that
don't
did
even
so
know.
well.
We don't even know what it is. It's like a Fitbit or something. We don't know, but they claim they are gonna like revolutionize it. You know what I mean? This is a new serious business. For
It's not a
them.
bad idea for them. I mean, we already know they've had a lot of success in the past with a lot of their fitness.
I mean, as much
Products?
as they've been investing in that field to begin with.
Yeah, and now
in the last few
being able
years.
to possibly reach outside of the realm of video games,
I mean,
target people there too.
they might be. I mean, Sony has their hand in every fucking cookie jar.
People say they're gonna be
Yeah.
dumb as fuck, but these things are really popular right now.
Oh yeah, they're super popular.
Yeah, Rabies in chat said this is a dumb thing, but like you gotta understand, the Wii was successful because it targeted like this new audience that no longer cares about playing video games on a console, but might care about something like this.
And if a
You
new
know, the
revenue
kind of people who went out and bought the Wii Pad, and the Wii because it was this fun thing to do with your family that was physical.
and a new say it does take off, which has a good chance of taking off if they do some truly revolutionary stuff. A new stream of revenue that would be helping to support the video game side of their business too. That's never a bad thing. I mean, that money they're going to be taking from this new revenue stream is going to be good for the company as a whole, which is going to benefit.
They plan to use. Oh my god!
What?
Why is this program doing this? Anytime my screen dies, it refreshes back to the top. No, but I mean, they're supposed to utilize like game designers and stuff, as a part of this as well. So I hope it doesn't take away talent from the games and stuff we care about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The other
There's
thing,
going to be some of that. I think it's kind of unavoidable.
the other thing they announced is that they plan to they're being a little more open-minded about some ways that they can make money pretty easily.
Gambling.
Well, they're gonna license out their characters for people who want to use them and stuff.
So you might start seeing Nintendo
iOS
characters
Nintendo
on-
games or something
hell,
like that.
maybe even start seeing
Nintendo
characters on other platforms. Who the hell
No,
knows?
what? Not
doubt-
just that, but say this company wants, or some company wants to make a line of Nintendo toys or something. Maybe Nintendo's going to be a little more open to that. Basically, they're going to let people license that stuff, not just video games.
They're gonna
outside of
release
video
their grip
games.
on
Could this
their licenses.
lead to a new Super Mario Brothers movie?
Yeah, possibly.
Who the hell knows?
Oh god.
I would pick Darren Aronofsky to direct.
The other thing they announced is that they do plan to dabble in the mobile space.
Mm-hmm.
Like now they're not going to be putting any games on iOS yet, but they are going to be developing some apps that maybe might have some mini games, but they're used to promote their actual games on their systems.
If they
and
do that-
they're just going to test the waters and see how it goes. I wouldn't be surprised if that stuff's successful. If
It sounds like they're going to be doing companion apps.
Yeah.
But the thing is I don't know how those aren't ever a bad idea. I mean, Sony has one for the PS4. You can do some stuff via your tablet or phone on the PS4, do messages, control a couple of things. I don't know how that would work with the Wii U though, because the Wii U is kind of shitty when it comes to
I don't think it's
connectivity.
companion apps.
Well,
the way
that's
they
what I'm
described
saying.
it is that it might be a little mini game that's promoting the new Zelda on
I see what
DS
you're
or
saying.
something.
Here's something with the mobile space though. Is there one platform between iOS and Android that is more dominant in Japan? That is there one that they just don't even use at all? Is it what I'm saying is there a likelihood that they might only develop for Android or they might only develop for iOS, or is that just kind of something that's farther down the pipeline that they'll kind of localize regionally?
I'm not sure.
I'm not 100% sure either.
I'm sure
I
whatever they do
don't
is
know.
gonna end up on
I'm just
both.
trying to think what
I think
do you use in
iOS is
Japan?
popular.
I know
in Japan.
iOS is pretty popular, but I don't know all the facts. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know.
I mean, a lot of this stuff is kind of all up in the air as purely
Well, yeah.
Speculative.
speculative.
This is
And
all
it's, well, I mean, not
speculative.
speculative, but it's
This is
they've
all still
said
in the
they've said
idea
it, but
stage,
they're very broad in their
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
definition
saying.
of
You
what
don't know
they're
where
doing.
they're going with it.
there's been talk of focusing heavily on improving gamepad implementation, making it feel like the gamepad is a necessary.
Which is surprising because some people
Thought they were going the opposite direction.
They might go the opposite direction to get the price down, even. But
That's what we were talking about, and I agree that's what they should do.
yeah.
It's hard for me to kind of decide how I feel about the gamepad, because there are times when I feel like, why does this thing exist? And actually, that's, right now 80% of the time that's kind of what I'm thinking when I'm playing these games. Even when I'm playing games like Pikmin, and I just have the Wii pad sitting next to me and I'm looking at it for a map, which is convenient, sure, but does it justify the existence of this?
This whole piece
fucking
of hardware. Yeah.
When something like a companion app on a piece of hardware that already exists, like an iPad, would be just as viable. But then there's times when I'm playing something like Wind Waker HD when it like completely changes and revolutionizes the experience. Like I would.
Well, that's just because you're playing the game on the gamepad.
But it's because I'm playing on the gamepad because I feel like it enhances.
But that's
the
what I'm
experience.
saying though, is playing on the gamepad and using the gamepad as an interactive tool between the game and you are completely different things. Those are completely different topics.
Well, I know.
No,
no, not necessarily, because every single game that comes out on the Wii should feel
I agree with that.
Like Wind Waker.
I agree.
You should want to play it on that controller.
But the problem is, a lot of developers aren't developing for Nintendo, in my opinion, because there is that gamepad, and that's a whole other
definitely.
technology they have to get into.
That's not even a matter of opinion. That is
That's
definitely
what I'm saying.
what's happening here.
So for one thing, having the game just be played on the gamepad is not that big of a deal. All you're doing is essentially just streaming it to the gamepad. Having some alternate, be it some multifunctional tool, be it a mini map, whatever, that's a whole nother realm of something they have to develop that they don't have to develop for the other consoles. That, I think, is where the issue is they have to have, essentially, they're making a game, and now, we need to dedicate a team to how the fuck does this work on Nintendo. We need to learn this technology. We need to learn what we're going to do with it, how we're going to use it, how we're going to make it work. And so that's a whole huge line of money they now have to spend. Whereas on PS3 and Xbox, they don't have to do that. Or PlayStation and Xbox.
True. I mean, even if you think about it, you're going to have, even first-party Nintendo games are going to have controls that are based on the Wii Remote, obviously. And then I think the biggest barrier to entry here, aside from just that the tablet even exists, is that with every single game you have so many different control schemes that like developers have to plan for and think about. You have the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. You have the Pro Controller. You have the tablet controller. Fuck, some games even use the balance board and like all these different peripherals that you have to kind of account for depending on what kind of game you're making, and that's just a huge barrier to entry. So. It is kind of surprising to see Nintendo taking this approach that we're gonna, instead of getting rid of it or making an external peripheral, an optional peripheral, we're gonna turn around and try and focus on making our games more. I mean, they don't have to do anything at this point.
Fucking gimmick that their system has that they can point to and say, "Hey, it's different," which is what Nintendo does. Also, it's definitely not going anywhere because Nintendo also announced that Nintendo DS games are coming to the Wii U.
Yeah, that's what I heard about that.
Original DS games.
Which are going to be playable on the pad? Or how does that even work?
It's dual screen.
It's dual screen.
Oh, so the bottom screen would be on your Wii?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to have
So you could play like
Elite Beat Agents?
You could play like Professor Layton.
Kirby's Canvas Curse?
That's
So you could play like Professor Layton like on your big screen?
Yeah.
What's that gonna
Who knows how good
But the only issue with that is what's a resolution?
And that's what I'm saying. Is it gonna look like shit?
Why do you keep taking pictures over there, Brad? Taking pictures of your junk.
No,
Brad's taking dick pics over
when I
here.
get emails, it flashes the light.
What?
That's the weirdest thing
It was
I've
part
ever
of a firmware update.
My phone.
I
didn't do that.
imagine you being in like.
Wait, do you use like the Samsung email client?
Is it do that to
Yeah.
make sure? Wait, it's when you send an
I use
email?
Gmail.
He's gonna be like in a horror movie one day, hiding from a killer, and then he's gonna get a bunch of emails, and his phone's gonna start flashing lights, like while he's hiding under a car, and the guy's gonna kill him.
Also, it seemed kind of vague. Iwata, I think, maybe tried to give some examples, but they plan flexible pricing for people who most support like their software. Like there's no longer gonna be. They say in the future that what they want to do is not just have this game is out and it's $50 or this game is $30, but maybe if you own both systems and you bought all these games, this game is only going to be this price.
So
for
they're
you.
gonna start relying on people to register all of their products then.
Pretty much.
Which I have
they're-
always gotten that shit out of the box, been like, fuck this. And I
No,
just-
not just that. I mean, they're talking about having a more sophisticated like Nintendo network as well. That's just gonna know that stuff. You know what I mean? It also sounds like it might be kind of like a cross-buy situation where maybe if you bought the new Smash Brothers on Wii U, it's going to be a lot cheaper if you
can
also
pay for
buy
it
it
at a
on
cheaper price on
3DS. You know what I
3DS,
mean?
yeah.
I think that's probably the most likely thing they're going to lean to first. Which is interesting. Who knows where it's going to go? They were very vague about the whole thing, but that is kind of what it sounds like. Which it would be nice if it was like some of those PS3 Vita games that were like, if you bought if you buy, you pay one price and you get both the cross-buy ones. That would have been really nice. But I mean, I don't know. At least they're thinking forward. I mean, it sounds like they are
considering all options.
Considering options that they didn't have to before because they were comfortably, sitting on their huge piles of cash.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, sometimes we see the best from Nintendo when,
The chips are down.
when the chips are down.
When they're
What does that even
desperate.
mean? The chips are down.
When the
like,
chips-
when you're
Like when the
gambling?
chips are like down.
Oh.
When they're down.
They play their best
and their
cards
chips.
or something.
And then they're like,
They're low.
you have 20, sir. And they're like, hit.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
Or something.
I suggest you stand, sir.
So I might have missed some things, but
Was that
why
was that a
aren't
fucking Austin Powers movie?
why aren't Nintendo DS games coming to the 3DS?
That's a better question.
Wouldn't that be smarter?
That's much smarter.
I bet
I know you
that
could
was
just-
just like a mistake on his part when he was reading the teleprompter at the conference. He probably meant to say 3DS. Now he's like, oh shit! Now I've promised them it's coming to the Wii.
He goes back to the office and they're like, what the fuck? Like,
What have you done?
we spent all these months working on putting these games on the 3DS. And now we gotta put them on the fucking Wii.
Oh man, that is weird. That is weird. Anyways, let's move on. So ironically, we've talked a little bit about Ubisoft in the past, or not Ubisoft, Watch Dogs in the past. So there's been a lot of speculation as to the status of that game. From a few weeks ago, Crispy had mentioned that
You're a hacker in that game, right?
you are a hacker in that game,
cool.
or so to speak.
Something like that.
And Crispy had mentioned a few weeks ago that they stopped taking pre-orders at GameStop. Is that still the case?
No, they're back.
Okay. And there's been a lot of speculation as to delays and why it's happening, and people have been talking about everything from, the game's not doing well, or it's going to be canceled, or it's really a secret Assassin's Creed game, and all this kind of stuff. And then I think it was today or yesterday. I think it was yesterday. There was all these. There was apparently somebody filed for the trademark, the Watch Dogs trademark, specifically associated with game software, to be delisted or removed from, or no longer filed. And all of a sudden, obviously, speculation runs wild. People start jumping to all the same conclusions. And of course, today we find out that it's actually a hacker went in there and filed. He actually pretended to be
Aiden Pierce?
the Aiden Pierce. No, not Aiden Pierce. The president of Ubisoft. I can't ever say his name.
Yeah. Something like that.
Or other.
President of Ubisoft.
Wait, say it again, Chris.
Yves Guillemot?
Yves Guillemot?
Guillemot.
Guillemot.
I've seen that man a million times and I can never remember his
You
damn
say
name.
the
Also, it's
N with your
Ubisoft.
Nose.
Not Ubisoft.
Is that how they say it?
Yeah.
Yes, Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
I like Ubisoft.
You be wrong, Nick.
Damn.
Snap, snap. Anyway.
It's weird too because people people who work at Ubisoft are so used to people calling it Ubisoft that they don't even correct.
They don't correct him anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they still say Ubisoft. So you have people in a conversation, one saying Ubisoft and the person from Ubisoft saying Ubisoft, and so it's kind of weird
Yeah.
because I'm saying it right a million times in front of you, you dumbass.
I don't know what to think about Watch Dogs anymore. It's kind of funny actually to see the turnaround of like reactions or response to this game since it was originally announced, because excitement couldn't have been higher when it was first announced, and now I feel like people are super cynical about it.
Joseph called it.
Oh yeah, Joseph did call.
He called that there might be somebody out there who's not that excited about Watch Dogs.
Anyways,
Surprise.
but you know, it was hacked. It was, the trademark was filed to be delisted, or I don't know what the terminology is. It was delisted from whoever keeps the trademark. I forgot what it's called. Anyways, that turned out to be false. Thank you, Chris. I couldn't hear what you said. Anyways,
He said trademark storage unit B. So they keep all the
that's
trademarks.
not at all what he said. I'm not falling for that shit, Nolan.
Fuck Ubisoft, man. Where's Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Yeah,
fuck,
where's South
man.
Park?
That is never.
We're getting
Yeah,
South Park,
you,
man.
You said Beyond, and for half a second I was thinking Beyond Two Souls. You're like, where's Beyond Two Souls 2?
What the fuck, man?
Beyond
Good and
Three
Evil 2,
Souls.
man.
Beyond Three Souls.
Man.
Anyways, that game is apparently still coming. It is still not an Assassin's Creed game. It is not.
Or so they say.
Ubisoft is assuring people that is
Remember
not.
how the first Assassin's Creed was like was a medieval era game, and then it wasn't, but it was.
What if we find out this game is the other way around? This game actually takes
It's
place
like some dude in the 1100s like gets in a box and he's like
He's
transported.
he's just like tripping balls. There's just some
He's
new
like,
weed.
I was in a city made of glass and steel, and I had a little thing that could control lights and sounds. They're like, you're fucking crazy. Get back in your box.
Get back in your box. That would be
Boo-box.
that would be an interesting twist.
Hey, bro.
Hey, bro.
So we have our first Lords of Shadows 2 review.
Yes, we do.
I'm sure it was glowing.
Would you like to hear about this game?
No, but please
So the
continue.
new Game Informer out, we got some details. I'm looking at this NeoGAF thread where they kind of pulled some of the juicy deets from the review, and I'd like to read them for you. I'm going to play this game.
Okay.
I want y'all to know that.
Just because of the name?
Well, it's not just because I'm not playing it because it's a Castlevania game. I'm playing it because there's a history here.
Of him hating this
y'all,
game.
Y'all have a history together.
It's like, how do you properly hate something if you don't play it all the way through, right?
You have a great fucking point, which is why I played Mercury Steam's games before I ever played the first. That's why I beat Jericho. Because I didn't have a right to bitch about Mercury Steam until I played Jericho, and I didn't have a right to bitch about Lords of Shadows until I
There
played
is
it.
something to be said, though, about the fact that you're specifically playing this game so that you can argue with people who like this game.
Well, that's also not fucking true. There's always a hope that the game's actually good.
There's a hope.
Like I was like when they announced some of the open world stuff like last year, I had hopes.
So what's up with that? Is it
Tell us
open world?
about the first review from Game Informer. What'd they give it?
I'll say this first.
Okay.
That this
It's
game
a 2. I'm calling it.
No, it's
Let's
not.
take bets.
It's not even that bad. Listen.
6?
I know this game's going to be a huge financial bomb. No one's going to buy this thing. Is anybody here going to buy it? No one's going to buy it. No one's going to fucking buy this game. No one cares about Lord. The first one didn't sell that well, and this one's going to.
I was at least gonna play it.
Doesn't matter. This game's not going to sell.
I don't matter.
It's coming out. People have their new consoles. There's other think about all that stuff coming out in March. Like it's crazy.
South Park.
In fact, I think
Dark Souls,
Metal Gear.
I think even this
Metal
game
Gear.
is releasing against
Titanfall.
Fuck.
other stuff like Thief. I think comes out the same day.
No,
or whatever.
Thief comes out at the end of this month.
February.
25th.
Yeah.
When does Lords of Shadows come out?
Oh.
I think actually at the end of this month.
Yeah,
Oh my god, it's the 25th.
Wait, you're right. I think it is the same day as Thief.
but I'm just saying this game's not going to do well.
Okay.
So if this game tanks critically,
You think that's it
so here's they got a 6, which is not
A
so good,
6.
especially from Game Informer.
They tend to be higher than most.
They do.
They gave Castlevania Lords of Shadows Mirror of Fate on the 3DS an 8.5. The person who wrote this review really liked the first game.
Okay.
The first Lords of Shadow.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's already a bad thing. Here's some of the deets. I just want to read these to you. I got this from.
Well, maybe
the
that's a
NeoGAF
good thing though, because if they really liked a bad game, maybe this one's better. So they don't.
Maybe
like...
it's an amazing
All right.
Castle.
Yeah.
They're like,
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They made
How about
it
I
too
read some of
open
these
with too many
deets?
choices. There's just too much flexibility in gameplay here. I don't
Right.
like it.
Too much freedom. What is this? It reminds me of Metroid. That's just
This is
weird.
like playing a 20-year-old game. I hate it.
No, how about we read some of the juicy deets and y'all decide for yourself. And again, this is straight. I'll even quote the poster. This is from Miami Wesker on NeoGAF. He read the article. Claims nearly every attempt this game makes to stray from its fundamental kill room formula ends in failure.
Yeah.
Reviewer loved the first game, said, unfortunately, this sequel is as fresh as a whiff of garlic breath. Cheesy.
It's a vampire
Cheesy
game.
bread.
It's a vampire game, so garlic. Okay, I got
Good
it.
new combat mechanics, but enemies stun locking you out of combos from across the map while you fight with the camera. Which, by the way, the first one didn't have a free camera. It was like God of War.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it had a static camera, which, you know, this one, they were so proud that there's an actual fucking camera now. Apparently it sucks. The reviewer hates the modern setting. It's filled with generic alleyways, factory levels.
That was one thing. I watched that
cetera.
video where they were talking about the open world and whatnot, and I was like,
Factory levels?
like I see what they were trying to go for, but like what they were showing in the video just seemed drab and not like
Factory levels?
filled. I
Think
didn't
about
see
this.
it.
Is Castlevania. This should be like fucking gothic architecture.
Well, this is like Gothic Industrial.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's see.
Maybe at the factory they make gargoyles.
Says there was one stealth segment that was the worst of its class. The more traditional Castlevania settings are better. Says there's one great level with the toy maker outside, which I saw in the trailer. It looked weird and kind of cool. Outside where most of the game, there's one good level with the toy maker. Outside of that, most of the game is just ground previously covered in the first game. And he quotes, "This shambling monstrosity is composed of chunks from other better games," which kind of sounds like the first game.
You know what this kind of what you're saying kind of reminds me of in terms of what I heard people talking about, going from like a really popular, you know, maybe divisive debut to its sequel, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed versus Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2, which was apparently really drab, short, not as inspired as its original game, and as a result, just kind of flew under the radar when it came out.
And again, no, this game got a 6 out of 10 in the new Game Informer. 8.5 was Mirror of Fate, that brilliant 3DS game.
Did you finish that game?
No,
You did play it.
I got through like half of it.
There were some pretty inspired, interesting
What?
levels in the first
Oh, the
Lords
first
of
Lords
Shadow.
of Shadows. Inspired?
I wouldn't say maybe not levels, but I would say like environments, like things that and characters that you would meet, and you know, it felt varied throughout. It didn't feel like a Castlevania game, but it felt varied, and it almost felt like a God of War in the sense that you were pretty constantly meeting interesting characters and doing interesting things, and like one level was not necessarily the same as the one before. I feel like this is just going to be a lot of dark modern.
Well, it's not all
days.
set in the modern day.
I think a big chunk of it's going to be like everything they've shown so far has pretty much been that. But
No, it hasn't. The demo wasn't modern day.
No, I
was
didn't
like
know this was.
in a fucking castle,
modern
and then he vomited on a wooden monster.
Well, in all fairness, that castle level did have a giant robot in it, but
yeah, it did.
it looked like
it
an
really
old
did.
robot.
It was a steam powered old.
I think it was holy
Gothic
powered.
robot.
I think it
Oh.
was powered by holy light or something. It was a
I
giant,
was-
glorious golden robot.
Guys, I want you to know something. This is not good news.
I mean, but
Well,
this isn't a
Castlevania-
surprise. either, is it?
Castlevania is finally dead.
no, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll
What,
talk
you
about
think
it.
this is it for the whole franchise?
No, that's
No.
not what I'm
That this is the
saying.
final nail in the coffin.
Stake through the heart.
He's a vampire. Sleeps in a
Stake
coffin?
through the heart.
Okay.
Would be better.
But nail in a coffin.
No, they don't nail their coffins shut. They sleep in
It's a
coffins.
more,
Why would there be nails?
It's a more
Why would there be
widely
nails?
accepted colloquialism.
No, it doesn't even make sense.
Nail in the coffin. Final nail in the coffin.
But it doesn't apply to Dracula.
Why not?
Because he doesn't nail his coffin shut. He
Fine,
just
but he
goes to
sleeps in a
sleep.
fucking coffin, and people say when things are over, this is the final nail in the coffin.
Stake through the heart.
Oh my
not
god,
only
you're
applies to
convoluting this
vampires.
so bad. Like,
Stake through the heart means
Okay.
dead, and that applies very specifically to vampires.
agree to disagree.
It's better than nail in the coffin.
So it's the final holy water to the balls.
This is the final nail.
That's the,
This is
was
the
it.
final nail in the coffin
was
of
it.
this podcast, is what I think.
it's the final bite of garlic.
Oh god. Anyways, Well, let's move on from the negative. We're gonna talk about it. I'm probably gonna play it. I don't know how. I'll,
See, look at you. You're not gonna play this shit. No one's gonna play this shit. No one's gonna
dude,
play
there's
it.
so much stuff coming out. Like if there was nothing else coming out in the month of February, I'd be all over this shit.
Okay, and you know what? That's probably what everyone else is thinking.
You're probably right. So this was this kind of came to this came up during the break. This was not on the original show notes for the show, but I did want to bring it up. There were some new, maybe not all new details, but there were some additional details that came out of I guess a press release for The Evil Within from Bethesda and Tango Gameworks. There we go. Obviously, this being the game that's kind of like this spiritual successor, maybe, or in the same vein as like Resident Evil 4. It's the next Shinji Mikami game, and we've got to look at it a few times at E3 and PAX. I know Chris B and Chris Davis went to QuakeCon and saw it last year, and we've all had pretty positive things to say about it. It's a Shinji Mikami game. It's going to be great, but there's some details that came up on NeoGAF. I guess the poster on NeoGAF was Dusk Golem. And I'll just kind of go through these. Some of these are interesting. Some of them things we already knew. Like, for instance, it uses the id Tech 5 engine, which has been confirmed for a while. But some of the things, the wording they chose to use was pretty interesting. The game is trying to strike a balance between horror and action, but in the sense that one should be desperately struggling to survive and facing scenarios of unimaginable horror. They say they want to redefine horror, which is a good thing, coming from Shinji Mikami, who basically defined horror on on the platform, and seem to be going for a more difficult and intense experience. So I guess further down the article, they said something to the effect of they're going for a real difficult experience and that you can die very easily. Enemies can kill you super easily, and there's a huge focus on resource management and finding resources, which makes it a survival game. Which, especially the last...
Is there a lot of time spent on resource allocation and allotment in your Attache case?
I don't know. I've actually never seen this game up front because I keep getting screwed out of my opportunity to see it.
That'd be
So
cool.
I don't know. But that would be cool. I wouldn't be surprised.
Just fucking just do it. Just fuck it.
Anyway,
No shame. Just fucking do it.
just rip off Resident Evil 4 and do it.
Resident 4 is his fucking game, you know? Fuck it.
True. Okay, let me just continue on. There's one more interesting thing of note down here, but they say they're making a focus on enemies that can kill the player easily. You have to be cunning and evasive to survive in these harsh conditions. You can also utilize traps that enemies have placed for you and turn them on the enemy, which is kind of cool. I didn't know that was a feature in the game. This is the most interesting thing to me. I did not know this. I guess Crispy said they showed one of these scenarios at QuakeCon, but it seems scripted when he saw it. But it says, it seems the player can experience random distortions that can happen in any area at any time, which changes anything from enemies, doors, walls, objects, or the like into terrifying nightmares that our character sees. These are random and change in real time as well.
So that sounds kind of like Eternal Darkness.
Yeah, or Eternal Darkness, or maybe akin to like Silent Hill when you see some.
But
like,
Silent
the
Hill, they're
specific-
scripted.
Yeah.
The specific scenario that they showed us at QuakeCon was the character walked. He was in a
hallway.
he was like in a cabin, and he climbed down a ladder into the cabin's basement, and there was a little hallway that he started walking down. And as he was walking, this big flood wave kind of washed over him, and as soon as the water dissipated, he was in a completely different area. Which actually led to a boss, I think.
And that
or some
happened.
sort of,
It was actually very fear-like.
it happened in engine, as he was just walking around. He was walking, he took a step, and then he heard a rumbling and wall of water, and then the camera was all wavy, and as the water cleared, he was in a hospital hallway or something.
See, that's cool.
Very fear.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I mean, there's a chance that could be randomly generated and whatnot, but I feel like maybe for the sake of a demo, it was probably very
Well, like
scripted.
I said, that led into an encounter that I think was a boss encounter.
Is that where the chick comes out of the blood?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the only thing I've seen in this game, in motion.
That's what it was. But I mean, that would be really cool if that kind of stuff is just taking you by surprise randomly.
Yeah, I mean
while
that's
you're
the reason
walking.
games like Eternal Darkness have been heralded as some of the best games in the genre for so long, is because that stuff just comes out of nowhere and you don't see it coming. Even if it is scripted, there are ways to do it in such a way that it doesn't feel scripted.
A horror game that does random really well is Fatal Frame.
Yes, Fatal.
Yeah.
The way ghosts just randomly come out. You know,
Man, I can't tell you how
at the
many.
worst possible times. Like
I can't tell you how many times I've because I've
pull out your
started.
camera and
I can't tell you how many times I've played that game and gone into a room thinking I knew what to expect.
Yeah, there's
and
never
then
been a
there's
ghost
never-
in here before. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good. But then,
So that's really cool. So I don't know
Well,
anything
those
anything
games,
from,
like,
from
right.
Shinji Mikami is exciting, and if he's trying to do some new, I mean, if he's trying to blend like the action, like the fun action of like Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 with an actual like survival experience, that could be really cool if he pulls it off. So there's that, and I think that's it for news. So since we're kind of running behind tonight, let's just jump straight into community. Nolan usually leads us through community.
yeah, it's community. Give me 1 second to pull it up because I wasn't prepared. But while this is getting pulled up, I will note that by Friday we should have our poll up for the top moments from 4-player in
Top 4-player
2013.
moments? Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun one, guys.
Y'all, if y'all didn't participate and y'all don't know, well, we had a post in the forums for y'all to all put your favorite moments, be it highlights, podcast, whatever, in the forums. We collected them all. We're creating a.
It's already created. We have to
well,
we have to edit it down.
We're
a little bit.
editing it down a little bit because it's still a little big, but it's gonna be a Google form. We can go in and you can vote for your favorite moment.
Just like the top 10 forum or poll that we put up for
Exactly.
the community top 10 video, which is live, by the way. You can find that on YouTube now.
That was my next topic.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Yes, we finally got up the top 10 games of 2013 as voted by the community. So
Pretty good
go
list.
watch that. Watch what y'all voted for. I saw some
That was a
people
pretty cool video.
disagreeing with the list, but that's fine.
Somebody's like, Wonderful 101's only on there because Brad really liked it. And like, fuck you. 3 other people on the staff put that on their top 10. 2 of them had it at their number 1, which I didn't. So fuck you. People like that goddamn game.
It's a good
And
game.
not even all those people that put it on their top 10 list have Wii U's.
That's true.
So it's February.
Yay.
February.
February. There is an R in there.
Yeah, there is.
February.
Which means we have a new subscriber of the month. Yay!
Yay!
And that subscriber is, let me read this, Turned to Gold, also known as Emily.
Also known as shenanigans.
I had nothing to
I
do
believe
with
the
Also,
word you're looking for
it
is
just
conflict of
happened.
interest.
It just, I don't know what happened with you guys, but the first time ever, Nolan didn't have a witness. Am I right?
That's true.
I had nothing to do
Or
with this.
he had this guy as
And
a
we all
witness
know-
with a $20 bill in
We all
his
know
hand.
how corruptible Nolan
I
is.
need a lot more than $20.
I had nothing to do with this.
He had 20.
I didn't even find out till the next day because no one tweeted at me calling
Are you
shenanigans.
going to play the game?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like you have to.
Wait, what was the game?
So the game that she chose for us to play this month is Medieval.
Which I actually
I think
always
it's
wanted to
just
play when I was
pronounced
younger.
medieval.
Medieval.
I was
But-
Wait,
but-
I was
the
saying
old PS1 medieval?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always
with the
called it
skeleton
medieval.
guy?
Yeah.
No, it's medieval, isn't it?
No, it's medieval.
I said when I was younger, I called it
They just
medieval.
just an I on the end, so it's evil.
Medieval.
EVI.
Not like evil, like
Yeah,
like of.
I see it.
You can buy it on
Eve.
on PS. You can download it on PSN
Oh.
for like $6 or something.
I got it running in an emulator.
Man, he
This is
could
the
put
best the game's gonna look,
He could
but
put his hand on his hand.
that is an old PS1 game.
Yeah.
Oh my! It's
that
it
game
looks
came out.
bad because like it moves very fast, but like
Not gracefully.
That
not
game.
gracefully.
That game came out before
Not
I got my
gracefully.
PS1. Before I ever got my first PlayStation, that game came out.
It reminds me of like, and I played medieval before. I mean, I don't mean to, put it down, but like, it reminds me of like an old Gex game. Like, remember when like
Gex.
PlayStation was trying like we could do fuck you Mario 64.
Yeah, we can do platformers.
We could do 3D platformers too.
Yeah.
It was of that era,
Oh
you know. But it's good. I mean,
Gex.
that's Sony Cambridge. That's run it
Alright.
through the PSP port. Maybe I'll do that.
Just to confirm here, Gex is not the subscriber of the month game. Nobody
No.
play Gex
Nope.
right now.
So looking at my my little document here, we haven't received any donations.
Sad
Or
face.
we received donations of $0.
Fuck you.
Spiritual donations.
So that happened.
What does the F stand for? Fuck you.
What?
What are you
What
talking
F?
about?
I don't know where there was an F.
no one's last name was F. Stands for fuck you.
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay. Anyway.
I don't know. I don't care. That's fine.
He's like, I didn't think that one through before I said it.
I don't care that there was no donations, but you should subscribe because there's some cool new videos for subscribers.
There's some new exclusive content for subscribers. That's correct.
I will say that if you are a subscriber and have you seen this new exclusive content, very specifically this trailer talk that was not for
Public eyes.
Not you shouldn't play it at work or in front of your parents or in front of your girlfriend or boyfriend. Or anybody. You should watch this one in private. If you're a subscriber
In the bathroom, maybe
your-
with some tissues.
with your
or-
Clothes off.
if you saw this and you enjoyed
Some
it,
candles.
you should be letting non-subscribers know that, hey, this shit was pretty cool. You know, and there's a lot of other cool stuff that you can watch if you're a subscriber. So,
Yes, this is true. Sorry, Nolan. Continue.
All right. And now it's time for Chatter of the Week. The part of the show where we pit two chatters against each other in an all-out brawl of their amazing chatting skills. This
Just
week,
look
our
down.
first chatter.
I'm sorry, I just looked down. All I see is Chris Davis put. He also deep-throated a worm, which is also kind of true.
This week, our first chatter is Josh B. Human error in chat. Josh writes, Josh's shameful secret. I don't know if this actually counts, but I always, no matter what type of media, books, movies, games, I always spoil the ending for myself. The reason I do this is because for me personally, it drives me to finish what I want to start. Knowing the ending makes me want to see how the journey was and how it evolved into the ending.
Wait.
Evolved
He watches
into
the ending first?
Plus, if the ending completely sucks, I will not be disappointed in any way, shape, or form.
Wait.
weird.
Wait. Okay, so who is this person again?
Josh.
Josh
Does he have a,
Hartnett,
does he have a
human error in chat.
human error? He watches the endings first?
Or
Is
reads.
he a robot?
He also said game, so apparently he plays the ending of the game. I'm sure he just
Or
looks it up online.
Yeah, spoils the ending.
That's completely out of context.
Okay.
Okay, just continue.
Josh's greatest gaming achievement. This will be short and sweet, but I know it's a rare achievement. I have been Zelda.
I have been Zelda before.
Yeah. I have, I guess, beat Zelda: A Link to the Past with minimum equipment, as in no boomerang, cane of Burna, magic cape, Bombo's medallion, bottles, magic powder, or bug catching net. The green
How did he
tunic
do
that
it
you
without the
start
bug
game
catching
with,
net?
the plain non-tempered master sword, the little blue shield that your uncle gives you at the beginning of the game, and finally no heart containers or pieces except for the 10 that the game forces you to get after defeating the dungeon bosses.
That's impressive.
I don't remember any of those
I don't
things
know if
except
he-
for the bug net.
I don't know if not doing it without the cane is such an accomplishment.
Human Error's top 5 games of all time. Number 5, Bayonetta. Number 4, Secret of Mana.
Haven't heard that one in a while.
Number 3, Half-Life.
2.
2.
Of course.
Number 2, Mega Man.
2.
3.
3.
And his number 1 game of all time is Zelda:
Link to the Past.
A Link to the Past.
Wind Waker.
And Josh is going to be competing against Danny from Dundee, Scotland. My name in chat is Garth Brooks number 1. In parentheses, Sigh.
What?
Wait, that's his name?
Like, no, Sigh.
Oh, I thought you were saying.
He's sad that that's his chatter name.
Oh, I thought you were
Garth
saying.
Brooks
I thought you were
number
saying.
one
I'm
is
just
his
kidding.
name?
This is sci-fi or something.
Oh,
I was like,
shit.
what?
I've never seen this person. She's making this shit up.
Shameful secret.
He's from Scotland and is Garth Brooks.
To put it simply, my name in chat, truth be told, I don't even like Garth Brooks. When I signed up for chat years ago, it was just an uncreative teenager unable to think of any good username.
Ironic. I mean,
I was
that's an
listening to the
actual-
radio at the time, and Garth Brooks' song was on. I made up my chat name on the spot, thinking it would be funny username, but
It
how
is
wrong
funny.
I was.
It is funny. I like it.
I persevered with the name for a while and it started to stick in chat. But most people thought I was just a crazy Garth Brooks fan, including David and Travis. To
So
this
then
day, I cannot enter chat without feeling like an idiot.
So then I changed my name to Community Boy.
It's no Conan O'Brien,
yeah.
but it's pretty good.
Oh
All right, Garth Brooks number 1. My greatest gaming achievement comes from a long night spent playing Dark Souls. One night playing Dark Souls, I was getting more and more bored trying to grind through the sections and decided to invade other worlds. I was still quite inexperienced at the time, but decided to equip my character with just a pair of leather trousers and a shitty upgraded club. I spent a few goes just getting destroyed by everybody, but it was late and I didn't give a shit. In my attempt, I invaded a world at New Londo Ruins under Firelink Shrine. I was greeted by 2 characters who at the time looked like the most powerful motherfuckers I had ever seen. I decided to play a little game of cat and mouse, but after a while I ended up stuck on a small platform at one side of a small bridge and they stood on the other ends, taunting me. The phantom in the world I invaded stepped onto the bridge. He pulled out this massive axe and started to run toward me. I took my club in 2 hands and ran towards inevitable death. As he leapt through the air, I managed to luckily get the first hit on him, which staggered him backwards off the bridge and to his death. The character whose world I invaded was so impressed he stopped, fist-pumped the air, and then bowed to me before taking out his own shitty club and fighting me fairly, to the death. It was a brilliant David versus Goliath scenario.
Wait, so who won that? Who won that fight?
Through the air?
Like a plunging attack, maybe?
Yeah, if you do like forward attack, like forward heavy attack or
Yeah.
forward light attack at the same time, they do a plunge or a...
No, I think the second guy killed
That's actually a pretty epic story.
Garth Brooks number 1, top 5 games of all time. Number 5,
The Thunder Rolls.
Dark Souls. Number 4, Fallout.
3?
I almost said 4.
3.
3. Number 3, Legend of Zelda.
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time.
Wind Waker.
Fuck!
Number 2, Metal Gear Solid.
3.
4.
2.
1.
Fuck!
And his number 1 game of all time is Chrono.
Cross.
Wait.
Cross. I'm gonna say
It
Cross.
should be Trigger, but with the Metal Gear Solid, it might be Cross. With the A is suspected
What'd you say?
age.
I say cross.
No one's. It's Chrono Trigger.
I'm
no
saying
one's
Cross.
favorite game is Cross.
all the way.
Chrono Trigger.
Fuck!
I mean, think about it. Who's gonna put Chrono Cross as their number 1 game? It's just not
I
acceptable.
loved Chrono Cross.
All right, guys.
Again, number 1 game we're talking.
We have
about
Human Error versus Garth Brooks number 1. Human Error's top 5 games were Bayonetta, Secret of Mana, Half-Life 2, Mega Man 3, Zelda, A Link to the Past. Garth Brooks number 1, Dark Souls, Fallout 3, Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, Metal Gear Solid 1, and Chrono Trigger.
I'm giving it to Garth Brooks, standing inside the fire.
I'm gonna get
Hell no.
The Lightning Strikes. The Night Rolls On.
Grisby.
You can't think of any gross
No,
choices.
I was gonna say I'm gonna pick Garth Brooks, but I prefer Chris, and I can't remember the rest of like his. Remember his rock and roll persona that he
Oh!
did, Chris. What the fuck was his
I
name?
can't remember.
I was gonna make a quip and it failed.
Chris Hansen?
No. Why don't you have a seat?
He had another.
What was his name? It was Chris.
Someone in
something G.
chat
Someone
knows.
with a G, right?
Guaranteed. Somebody in chat knows.
It was like Chris Givens or something.
Chrono Cross. Listen,
You listen, bitch.
Chrono Cross is not someone's favorite game of all time.
It can
Chrono
be.
Trigger is definitely someone's favorite game of all time.
Dude, Chrono Cross can be someone's favorite game of all time. You got to get off your high
yeah,
horse.
looking at Alan Wake, right?
Sure.
All right, well, congratulations, Garth Brooks number 1. You won Chatter of the Week. Crispy, tell him what he won.
Signed Garth Brooks.
Our
CD.
love and admiration for the next 5 seconds.
So congratulations, Garth Brooks. Enjoy that while it lasts. Oh, I'm sorry, it's gone.
And it's gone.
If you would like to be Chatter of the Week, please send an email to me, Nolan Hedstrom at 4playernetwork.com. Include your name and chat, where you're from, maybe height, ASL, whatever. Your shameful secret.
Gaines! It was Chris Gaines! I'm sorry, go ahead.
And share your Chris Gaines, your shameful secret, your greatest gaming achievement, your top 5 games of all time, and you too might win Chatter of the Week.
How did you resist the chance to say he won a signed Garth Brooks CD?
I don't know.
Or a signed Chris Gaines CD?
Well,
Did he
my
have a
head-
CD?
my head
Did
was
he
all
have a
in-
Hey,
CD?
Nick, do you believe that there are some games out there that just aren't,
No.
that can't be someone's number 1 game?
Well, yeah, but those are like bad games.
Do you think it's possible for someone's number one game of all time to be Castlevania, Lords of Shadows, Mirror of Fate? Could that be someone's number one game of all time?
No.
No, right? That the person doesn't exist on this planet. I think you
But
can ask
that-
7 billion people and not find one person who would say their favorite game of all time is Lords of Shadows and Mirror of Fate, unless it's a little kid who's it's his first fucking game outside of maybe like an iOS game. Maybe in that situation, he's like, "Oh, my favorite."
Oh, is he less of a
Yeah,
person?
but
Is that
very
what-
much
Chrono
so.
Cross is not Castlevania, Lords of Shadow 2, Mirrors of Fate.
But it does.
That's right, folks.
Suck.
No, it does not. I played that game like 6 times.
What if there was somebody who was like locked in a cell for 10 years and all they had was a copy of Chrono Cross and they played it and it was the only thing that kept them sane through their captivity. So
I wanna play that game
their
again.
Favorite game.
But I don't think that person exists.
I love that game. I want
But
to play
you
that
don't
game
know.
again.
There's 7 billion people on the planet.
You know
No,
what?
no.
If
there's
I'm
people
ever
out there.
subscriber of the
Sure.
month, I'm going to pick Chrono Cross.
Well, you're not a subscriber, so it's not going to happen.
I should probably subscribe then.
Probably.
only
One
$5
more
a month.
thing in the community. Saturday, we're doing a community multiplayer night. I will be hosting Rust. It's my first time playing it.
Okay.
I actually have a post going up this week about it. So I'm going to start on my own. It's kind of one of those games where you can kind of either do it by yourself or with other people, and I kind of want to play it by myself
Well,
for a
even
little
if
bit.
you play with other people, you're going to be on your own for a while.
I realize. And then so I'm probably going to start around 5, and then maybe around 7 or 8. I'll let people know what server I'm on, or we can
Alright.
join whatever server and all play together.
Brad, I also want you to know, subscriber of the month game this month was almost Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage.
I would have played it.
That's what I said.
He would have said
That's
it's
what
a
I
beta
said.
game.
But she went with Medieval.
But it's good
Medieval.
because
I can't stop saying
just
it.
say medieval.
Medieval. I don't know why I can't stop saying it. That's what I
Medieval.
said. That's what I said when I was a kid, and it stopped. Oh my god!
Doofus.
It wasn't that funny. I just dropped my phone.
You didn't drop your phone. You were kind of playing with it, and it almost seemed like you threw it.
You were trying to scorn gravity, and gravity bitch slapped you.
No, medieval. I'm glad you picked that because it's a game that I dabbled in, but I never played much of when I was younger because I was into like sophisticated games. Well, I mean, I'm just saying I was a little bit
Whoa,
older.
whoa.
I was playing Final Fantasy Tactics.
Low blow.
Just saying. It's not a low blow. I'm just saying people who like Spyro a lot were babies back then. Medieval doesn't count. It's actually pretty clever, but you can use your arm as a weapon.
It's true.
Because you're undead. But I mean, seriously, how old was Emily back then? A little
Wait,
kid.
what year did it come out? Wait,
Ni-
you know what?
ni-
We're not gonna have the conversation.
97?
let's just move on.
97?
Let's go ahead and wrap the show up, as we always do with the 4-player minute. I will say this: I know there's a very special someone in chat who's wanting me to do Dinosaur of the Week
Ooh.
because I promised that I would if he subscribed, and he subscribed. However, we've had discussions, and I think I'm gonna try and bring this back as a video. So look for that. We have a green screen. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap up with the 4-player minute. We're all gonna say something we're hyped about, our sweat, something we're worried about, our thank you for the week, and our fuck you for the week. Brad usually
When did we
starts.
stop calling it Sweaty Palm?
I don't know. It's been a long time. I don't know.
Should start. Listen, we changed the name. It's not Sweaty Palm. It's Gaming Hype and Gaming Sweat. Okay? Got it?
Someone wants me to change it to Dino Erotica of the Week. I don't know if I'm comfortable doing that.
Listen,
However,
How long would it take for you to get through of all the dino erotica in the world?
Hey, Nick, what's the 4-player minute?
I just said it, Brad. Go.
Gaming Hype, Gaming Sweat. Fuck you and thank you.
Yes.
My hype is for Wolf Among Us Episode 2, which came out today.
Yes, it did.
I'm excited because that first one was pretty good. I mean, not like Walking Dead good, but good. It was good. Maybe it was Walking Dead good. I don't know. My sweat is for the PS4 because I realize I might have some issues trying to get it to broadcast. And my sweat is just for like slow rollout of features they promised. Like, when are they going to remove HTTP? I would like that to happen sooner rather than later, please. You know?
It would be nice.
That would be really fucking nice. So we wouldn't have to, like, fucking jump through hoops to get this shit broadcasting. My fuck you for this week goes to Intelligent Systems. I played Advance Wars, the original, the other night, and I love Advance Wars. In fact,
Great game.
I collectively, I would say like Advance Wars 1, 2, and I put Advance Wars on my top 10 list years ago. But I sort of like lumped them together as a series because they're actually very similar.
Oh, yeah.
But fuck you to Intelligent Systems / Nintendo / whoever is in charge of Nintendo that's keeping us from getting a new Advance Wars games. It's been too long. It's been too long.
It has been.
It's been a really long time since the last Advance Wars game. You know, I'm ready. Give it to me.
Brad's body's prepared.
You know,
Brad's
Fire
body.
Emblem did surprisingly well, Nintendo, and do you know why? It's because you marketed the shit out of it. So let them do an Advance Wars games, and how about actually promote it for once? That'd be nice, because it works when you do.
It's funny that Nintendo really only promotes their big games like Mario.
And even then, do they even promote that? They
Even
don't
with, yeah. I remember when they actually promoted Rhythm Heaven, and it actually did pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about that. Fucking Rhythm Heaven of all things.
I think maybe they got a little cocky lately after the success of the Wii and decided, oh, we don't really need to market our shit as much.
And thank you.
They don't even market their like big shit that much.
Thank you. If Lords of Shadows, my thank you for the week goes to Castlevania Lords of Shadows 2. Because, I don't want you to suck because I want to play a good game. But thank you. If you do suck and the critics hate you and you don't sell because you won't, thank you to you sucking because there might be a chance that maybe Konami gives Castlevania back to Koji Igarashi.
As long as you don't use your teeth.
What? Oh, yeah. Okay. Because, you know what? It sucks to go out like this, but, you didn't do very great with Castlevania so far, so I'm glad to see that you're done with it. Now, Konami, please do something smart. If you don't give it back to Igarashi, just make a smart choice this time, please. Don't give it to fucking Spark Unlimited or whatever lazy-ass decision a lot of Japanese publishers are doing these days for finding Western studios to work on their properties.
Did Lost Planet 3 ever come out?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Was it bad?
How about Ninja Theory?
Did anybody buy it?
Yeah.
I'd be okay with Ninja Theory making a 3D Castlevania game.
Me too.
Just let Igarashi do a 2D one. Please. Maybe a Harmony of Despair too. I'd play that.
I really wish I would have gotten to that game.
You know what? I told you before and I'll tell you again. Find a crew that wasn't part of our crew back then. Get it on PS3 and go to town, man. You just need to find a crew who's willing to who get into it, who hasn't played it before. But you cannot play that game with someone who's played it before. It has to be
I've never
new
played
blood.
it.
Yeah, but
What does that mean?
you're not going to get into it. I mean, this is like, it's like
Sometimes-
Diablo.
It's like how you got into Symphony of the Night.
Well, that's not. That could still very well happen. I loved the 2D Castlevania game that I played.
Almost as if you had it sitting on your Vita. Oh, I'm done with your Vita, by the way. Oh, did you want that back?
Yes, I was. Did you ever talk about that game that you were playing?
Oh, East?
Yeah.
Memories of Salsetta? I briefly mentioned it on the podcast.
Now is not the time.
I sent it
Whatever. Just give me back my damn Vita. Maybe I will start playing fucking Castlevania.
My 4-play minute starts now. My hype. Yeah, same as last week, but it's still hype for it. Bravely Default comes out on Friday, actually.
It does.
I'm pretty excited for it. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm having a busy weekend,
There's
though.
so many RPGs.
No, it's good.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, the
Me
reviews
too.
are getting great reviews.
Yeah.
I know.
But I heard that the later half of the game isn't the best.
Yeah.
That's what I've been hearing. Is that the beginning is good, but then like the later half gets kind of poopy.
People are saying it's like old school Final Fantasy, but man, that's don't just throw that around. You know, old school Final Fantasy, like Final Fantasy 6. Damn, man.
If it is good, it'll be the first old school Final Fantasy game I've ever played.
Sweet. My sweat is actually for Rust because I'm playing that. It just kind of as a community as a whole. When it comes to certain games like this, like getting servers going, and sometimes they can just be a pain. And I'm really hoping everything just.
It looked like a lot of
The
fun.
only
when I was
problem is
watching
you're gonna have
this.
feed watchers.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Have you looked into maybe preventing that from happening?
So I looked into it a little bit. It seems like what I was hearing is like every map, every server is the same map.
Yeah.
So
Like
I mean,
Daisy.
yeah. So if they don't know what server I'm on,
But is there going to be a way for them to find out your server? Like, because I remember when I played Daisy,
well, that was
I had to
because
like
it was the
black
beta.
out all my
Like,
fucking
I don't think it
names.
shows the IP.
Okay.
So, and that's just for the beginning part. And then I'll start playing with everybody else. But my fuck you goes to Wizards of the Coast for putting out a shitty game, or at least putting out a shitty game on iPads, because I really want to fucking play it, but I'm not going to give you $10 for a shitty fucking game.
Yeah.
That's broken, but I really want to play it. I've like refought several of the battles just because it's so much fun. And my thank you goes to indie developers, because they are just the nicest fucking people. Like, I mean, I'll tweet at one, they'll tweet back, we'll have a conversation, you know. Like, I think this random indie developer, like...
Was his name Randy?
Yes. His name was Random Randy.
Randy Rando.
I think I was talking with another indie developer, and they, like, saw me talking with them, and I tweeted that, you know, indie developers are the best developers, and they were like, hey, this guy, they're just shouting out to Infamous Nolan, that guy's pretty cool. Like, just randomly, just because I said indie developers are cool. And so they're just the best fucking people. Like like those guys at Next Gen Pants are pretty cool.
Yeah, those guys Next Gen Pants are pretty nice.
I don't know. I've been like on the edge of my seat waiting for screenshot Saturdays, but I'm not seeing.
But that one guy that was on their team did deep throat a PS3 controller that one time.
What?
What?
Huh?
What is happening? Crispy.
Wait,
Okay.
you haven't played the demo of their game? Guess you're not one of the lucky few.
Crispy.
Okay, so my hype, oddly, I mean not oddly, but it seems odd because this is still a ways away and we don't really know much about it, but is for the Game of Thrones Telltale game, because in keeping with the adventure games that we've been playing a lot lately, like I've been playing Walking Dead and I've been playing Kentucky Route Zero, and you guys have been talking about Broken Age, like there's a lot of adventure games around now. And
This could be the year of the adventure game.
I am like steeped in the books right now. Like I just started book 4, and like this world is incredible. Like I just can't fucking wait for an adventure game set in this world. Like it's just gonna be misery and sorrow and violence and woe, and I can't wait.
Whoa.
And fucking.
I hope.
Although there's not
I'm
as
not
much
into
fucking in the
incest,
book as there is in the
but-
show.
No. But this is probably gonna be like based off the HBO property,
Yeah.
so you probably see like an animated like
Titty.
Are there gonna
Theon
be
Greyjoy's
boobs?
dick or something.
I hope there's boobs.
That'd be crazy.
Every new chapter
Would
is
this
going
be
to
the
start with
first-
like chapter 3, and it's going to fade into someone getting fucked.
Into boobs,
It's like every single time.
Would this be the first Telltale game to show nudity?
Probably.
Remember?
We're assuming there's going to be nudity. That might not happen.
We're not assuming, we're hoping.
We're praying.
True.
when Jamie
Maturity.
Yeah.
first comes back.
Hey,
To
wait,
King's
no,
Landing?
God damn it. God
No,
damn
no,
it.
no, no, let's not get into a
No, we
conversation.
don't even need to get into this conversation at all.
Stop it. I'm just gonna say one thing. When he first comes back to King's Landing,
Uh-huh.
he fucks the shit out of Cersei Lannister.
Yep.
Oh,
That wasn't in the show.
No.
That's the kind of shit I want to see in the game.
and he did it in a fucking
Brad's
church.
not
He
into
did it in a
incest,
church.
but Crispy,
There-
what's your
there was
next?
a lot of things
what's
that
your,
were
He
inappropriate.
what's
fucked
your,
the shit out of her in a church, and
Yeah.
they didn't put that in the show.
No, they didn't.
they want the Christians to still watch.
Well, there's not very many worshippers of the Seven in the real world, so I don't know who'd be offended. Anyway, my sweat is for Daughter Trade City. I'm going to be playing more Final Fantasy Tactics tomorrow night, starting at 10:30-ish. And I'm planning on probably doing Daughter Trade City tomorrow, because that's the next story thing I have to do, because I haven't played in 2-3 weeks on the feed. 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks because we did community night last week.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'll probably play tonight and get ready for that. But you know, Brad just keeps telling me, he's like, "Yeah, watch out for Daughter. It's gonna suck. You're gonna play tomorrow." So,
Yeah, I have no perspective. That's what other people say.
like, you were telling me that it's gonna suck too.
I think so.
Everyone.
But
I
so
don't know.
was this Rat Seller too. Right after that,
Dude,
probably.
but apparently just like
Rat
random
Seller.
encounters with fucking chocobos suck for me.
Also,
so
the
who knows?
final fight of the first chapter, that's going to give you a hard time.
My thank you goes to Kickstarter, because I was thinking today while I was playing Kentucky Route Zero, there's been a lot of great things that have come out of Kickstarters over the last couple of years. we're kind of like in, I mean, people have been saying it, but we're kind of like in this golden age of indie development because of things like that. Not specifically just because of Kickstarter, but because of this refocusing on smaller projects and smaller studios and more direct funding from the people who are going to be playing the game. And that's a really cool thing. And I am very excited about the future of that whole section of the industry.
Yeah.
And my fuck you goes to everybody else who plays Final Fantasy Tactics. I know every other person in the world who has ever played Final Fantasy Tactics is better at that game than me. Okay, we settled it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. Okay,
Done. Thank you, Crispy.
thank you.
My hype right now goes to Thief. We talked about it last show. I don't know why. It's probably just because it's one of the first major releases of the year, but they also released a new 6-minute long trailer kind of talking about the world and what you're going to be doing, and who knows what it's actually going to end up being in terms of its openness and its game structure and whatnot. But I don't know. I just really like the way that game is coming together, just visually and conceptually. It looks cool. I'm hoping it delivers because there has been some doubt cast on it. My sweat goes to Dark Souls because I was talking to Nolan on the way here. Dark Souls 2 comes out in March. I have it pre-ordered. I want to play it. I've always wanted to play the original Dark Souls, but it's just, and I want to jump into Dark Souls 2 with everybody else, start fresh. So when y'all are playing it, I want to be playing it, but I don't know if that's the best decision, especially considering I've heard Nolan included has told me that it might be hard to go back to Dark Souls 1 if you just jump straight into Dark Souls 2. I don't know. I'm running out of time to decide what I'm going to do here, but it's making me nervous. My fuck you for the week goes to Nintendo and Amazon. I don't really know who to actually direct the fuck you at, but
Probably
I
Nintendo.
had Bravely Default pre-ordered on Amazon, and I got the notification email yesterday saying that congratulations, your copy of Bravely Default will be arriving on February 11th, which is almost a week after its actual scheduled release date. So I canceled it.
So you know how we don't do Shameful Secret anymore?
I have a shameful secret this week.
I convinced Malia that we should celebrate Valentine's Day like a lot earlier than the 14th. Because I know I'm getting Bravely Default in my Valentine's Day basket.
I hate to tell you this, Brad, but she's probably on to you.
No,
Wait,
she's cool with it.
Valentine's Day basket?
They'll give each other baskets.
I don't know. I don't think they're baskets.
Wait,
it
there's
like
supposed to be
Easter?
a basket? Am I doing this all wrong?
All right,
it like
my
like an
gift,
Easter basket?
my Valentine's Day gift.
Nice.
Is that supposed to happen?
Baskets?
No, I mean, is the girlfriend supposed to give the guy a gift on Valentine's
No,
Day?
I don't know. Dude, well, like, I have
'Cause she
Valentine's
does, and I'm
Day
cool with that.
and 6-month anniversary this month. I don't know what the fuck I'm
Oh,
gonna
you're
Like-
fucked. Wait, 6 months anniversary?
Dude, just
Wait,
one,
really?
one gift.
August.
Just lump that shit together,
One
dog.
gift.
One big
One
gift.
event.
Yeah, I don't know.
One need
No,
take her
don't-
out to
don't do
dinner. Maybe do a movie.
Yeah.
Something
I don't know,
classy.
that sounds, I don't know.
No, it's Katie, not something funny. Go see a nice comedy y'all can laugh at.
What's going on here?
What are you doing?
Hey, let me finish my
Like,
thing.
no, it's Katie. She doesn't deserve anything.
Oh, I'm
back.
not saying that. I'm
You
just saying.
guys would fucking...
I know. I'm saying. I think just because it's Valentine's Day doesn't mean it has to be
No, no,
romantic,
no,
and
I
it has to
know,
be.
I know.
I think it has to be something you both enjoy because that's what you're celebrating. You're not celebrating romance. You're celebrating
No,
being
I
with
know,
each other.
I know.
You guys would fucking crack up if I told you what she wants from me for Valentine's Day.
But you're not going to tell us, are
For
you?
you to be a man.
She wants you to play Rise of the Argonauts.
No, like it's
the
hilarious.
butthole-shaped chocolates.
Oh, I forgot those,
Those
were
are
things.
things.
God damn it! Why did you bring that up again? I
Wait,
forgot those were
Let me
things.
finish. Let me finish.
It's
My-
not the only thing I'm gonna get
Fuck
her,
you,
but
Brad.
it's the thing she asked for. Okay,
What's that?
it's the main thing she asked for. I'm still gonna like buy her dinner and chocolates and flowers and all that.
Of course.
She wants as her gift, and she came and told me after I said, you know, I want a DS game, and she's like, well, if you're getting a DS game, because that's lame, I want you to buy me Real Housewives of Atlanta on Amazon digitally. there's a new season, and she wants to watch it.
Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yes, she loves that show. So her Valentine's Day gift for me is going to be a digital purchase from Amazon of the most recent season of the Real Housewives.
I like how she specifically requested the
Atlanta.
digital version.
I don't know how
on
to
Amazon.
wrap that,
That's awesome.
but I'm gonna have to get her something else because that's
You should
way-
just wrap her laptop.
That's a great fucking idea.
Yeah, it is. And then
Oh,
when
I'm
she
gonna do
opens it, it'll be up there. You just have it on the screen.
Just
already.
hope to God it doesn't run out of batteries while you're waiting for it. Anyways, my thank you for the week goes to the community who came and watched my broadcast on Sunday night during the Super Bowl of Final Fantasy 13-2.
Wasn't a big stretch for them.
I wasn't. I was really honestly expecting a massive negative reaction to me playing Final Fantasy 13-2 on the feed, but ended up getting into some interesting discussions with people in chat and playing the game, and people were actually being pretty overwhelmingly positive about it. I discovered some things about some community members, like Faust has an unnatural understanding of the lore and the universe of Final Fantasy 13-2, or 13 in general. So that was cool. he was explaining, like, people were asking questions and he was explaining it in chat and like trying to make sense of it.
He was a story consultant on those games.
Exactly. Perhaps, maybe he was.
Remember
I just thought it was
King
pretty
of
cool.
Hearts? He used to be our resident JRPG expert
Mm-hmm.
back in the
He's talking about
Yeah.
the chatter, not the game.
I
no,
know.
the mod.
Was that a
actually.
G Gundam reference? His name?
He
Kingdom
maybe
Hearts?
Alice in Wonderland,
King of
uh,
Hearts?
Oh.
Wasn't that the game?
Anyways, and
Yeah,
I do have a shame this week. I couldn't help myself because I've played about 13 hours of Final Fantasy 13-2 at this point, and I could have been playing a lot more, except I've watched an ungodly amount of Supernatural in the past couple weeks. Emily got me started, and I just haven't stopped. And I'm 5 seasons in. That's 104 episodes. Nearly 72 hours.
If Nick's job was to watch Supernatural, he'd have a very financially secure future.
I would, at least for the foreseeable future. I'm running out of seasons. So, I don't know. I'm kind of ashamed of that, but I'm enjoying the hell out of it. And as soon as I finish that, I can get right back into gaming as much as I was before. So, I just want to be totally upfront and honest about my newfound addiction. I'm kind of ashamed of it, but hey, that's what this is for, right? Anyways, I think that's gonna do it, guys. Did y'all just touch hands? Did I just witness this?
I haven't moved an inch.
I was touching metal.
You know,
Oh god. Okay.
I played Rumble
No,
Roses in
don't.
front of Malia.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'd be way more embarrassed to play Kingdom Hearts in front of her.
Why?
That shit is shameful, dude.
Well, wouldn't she like all the Disney stuff?
There's no Disney left in Kingdom Hearts, man. Not at all.
Yeah, the Disney has kind of taken a back seat, which
Mickey
kind of
Mouse is a
kind of a shame.
pretty big Disney.
Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. It's been episode 349, and stay tuned after the show. If you're watching us live, we're going to be playing Octodad, Dadliest Catch cooperative play, which should be fun. If you missed the live recording, or if you're listening to this after the fact, you can find it on YouTube. And of course, please bookmark the sites, 4playernetwork.com. We have a lot of stuff coming up that we're working on, looking forward to getting done and showing everybody. And yeah, please tune in. Also, subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us a review. We really appreciate it. I haven't asked for that in a while.
We should look and find out who was the last person to leave us a review. I bet it was fucking years ago. No one listens to this shit. What is wrong with you people? Just go to fucking iTunes. I know a lot of you have it. You don't want it, but you have it on
I
your
think I
fucking
left a
computer.
review in 2009.
Just open it the fuck up. Just open it the fuck up. Leave a review.
5 stars.
Go
5
read
stars.
Nolan's fucking review.
I wanna
Leave
go
a review. What is wrong with you people?
I'm gonna
We're
go-
not going to succeed on the fucking internet unless you leave a review. Do you understand that the only way we move up in the listings of top games and hobbies podcast is if you leave a fucking review? We don't tell you to leave a review because it's the thing we always say. It helps, man.
I'm gonna
Do
go.
it. Do it right now. We're getting 5 second silence for people to open up iTunes. It takes like fucking a minute for that piece of shit
It
program
takes like
to start
5
up.
minutes for that piece of
5
shit.
minutes, but hey,
Wait, so go and install it, because I'm sure you've already uninstalled it.
go start up iTunes. We're waiting. We're waiting. Okay, it's starting up. And when it finishes loading, please leave a review. Just what did I search for? 4-player podcast.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Brad. That's how it works.
4-player podcast.
Uh-huh.
Don't type in 4-player network. I don't think that'll work. And leave a review
It actually might.
and rate the show.
I'm gonna go find Nolan's review from 2009. I'm gonna read it on the show next week.
I have no idea what it says.
I can't
I really
wait.
like this show.
Probably.
I
That's why I'm
cannot
like,
wait.
they're the best podcast.
Oh god, Reborn's doing it.
Do people even get podcasts from iTunes anymore?
I do.
I fucking hate iTunes. I turn it on and all these podcasts start downloading, but they're like so old, and I'm like, stop downloading, and I can't ever figure it out. I can't ever just download the one I want. How do you do that? How do you just fucking download the one you want? It's impossible.
It must be impossible.
But we need a review. Do they have like an iTunes website where you can leave a review without loading up the program?
No.
It's Apple. No, they don't.
Anyways, let's not go down that rabbit hole. Stick around, guys, for Octodad. We'll catch you next week, next Tuesday, starting about 8 p.m. We'll be doing another podcast. And until then, I guess keep your eyes on the feed at 4pp.tv. We'll be playing shit every night until then. And I guess we'll see you later. Bye,
Peace
guys.
out.